Adora Bunny did her response to Radia's allegations, so I didn't get to check this out yet. I'm going in here completely blind. But yeah, this document is shorter. It's like 47, and apparently there's a lot more photos. All right, so let's start because it's already pretty late. And there's also a lot of information that's come out after the Google Doc came out. And Radia also said that she's going to speak about it more tomorrow. She says here, for those who have asked, I'd likely speak Tuesday on everything fully. My emotions are still not organized in a matter I feel appropriate for a deep conversation or detail. I still am receiving messages regarding her malicious behavior, specifically towards me since early 2023. I'm still digesting the fact that she was spreading mass doubt and lies over my very personal and closeted medical issues at the time, while feigning care in order to procure more information. To this day, I have no idea how many people know incredibly intimate details of things such as prior surgical procedures or treatments meant to remain private. How much of my body is unknowingly on display for what can only be theorized as sick amusement? I can only ask if you've heard things over the years that you approached me to have a genuine conversation. There is no animosity. I will not be upset you did not approach me until now. She relied upon silence, and for those who have reached out, shown me messages, and offered me compassion, I offer my thanks. Let's go through the doc. She starts by saying, hi everyone. I first want to start off by saying this response is going to go into heavy personal information on my side of the situation, including my past suicide attempt and my past sexual assault. Please be warned before proceeding. Heads up, this document is predominantly so long because of screenshots taking up space. The document is in timeline order, so please read it from start to finish and don't skip around or you'll miss important information. This should never have gone public because ultimately it was a fallout between two best friends that no longer trusted each other, hurt each other, and one side decided to make it the world's business. I don't know why she needed to when over the past 6 weeks since I took my hiatus after my S-side attempt, I've never spoken her name to a soul first and had moved on with my life. I'm glad to still be here and hoping to move on finally after all of this. However, she continued to spiral and refused to take any extended olive branch through neutral third parties. So now we are here, and I'm going to show you every single shred of evidence I have, including recordings and screenshots of her I have, and recount my side of the situation. I want to start off by saying that Radia has deleted every single DM she has ever sent to me on Discord. If not for the fact I had backed several of them up for fear she would attempt to cancel me publicly and to protect myself, I would have nothing anymore and only her curated screenshots to paint me in the worst picture imaginable. Here's proof of her removing all messages to me. Personally, I don't think deleting messages is a proof of anything, but I mean, it could be that there was stuff in there, or it could be that you just want to protect yourself after falling out. It's kind of completely normal in this space to do that. The beginning, in Project Stim, myself, Pomato Master, and Finari Mori had begun to have issues over the previous months with Radioactive's behavior. She has also spoken to us about several issues over things such as being ungrateful towards her community for not giving her enough money. While saying this before us, while myself, Pomato Master, and Finari had to deal with our own financial issues. This happened multiple times, including during the Project Stim debut stream on her channel that we all agreed to do together. And during the stream, she ended up yelling at a chat member for saying, "I won't feel sorry for you," to one of Alicia X Live's community member when the conversation at hand was about giving money to the members of Project Stim and our friend. Oh, so is that the same, like, troll or, like, guy that Alicia was talking about in her tweet? Oh, that is the chatter mentioned in the tweet, okay. Well, this is getting right into tackling some points that the other doc talked about, like, immediately. Below is another one of the conversations we had in the past in regards to her not wanting to stream because she isn't making enough money. An unrelated party has been censored as they are not member of Project Stim. But this was not the first or last conversation we ever had with Radia about money or her telling us she did not feel supported by her community. Here's one that we discussed over text. Cool, got the clip. For those of you who wanted to see the chatter who only sent one message, the proof is in the top right of the screen. Radia begins to crash out, Pump stops her and corrects it, then corrects it a second time. Fen literally hits the shocked reaction face. Not gonna tweet it because I think it's stupid to dunk on Radia when I'm already over the issue. Just wanted to make sure it's clarified to this community so you can see it for yourself. Radia made a doc about Adora. It mentioned me saying a chatter brought me up 7 times. The context was talking about supporting friends. So here's a Discord message between Radia and somebody else as redacted. I'm hoping it is that. Yeah, I've just had a real jank luck this year. I told my community I wouldn't take a hiatus, but the return on putting myself out there for 4 hours not worth it at the moment, like emotionally or fiscally. Okay, well, I mean, she's kind of just saying, oh, you know, streaming for 4 hours is not worth it emotionally or financially. I feel like this is not such a big deal as Adora's trying to make it to be. Below is her... Oh, there's more. Below is her mentioning streaming isn't worth it if she only makes $50 a stream. This was an issue we had to deal with and one I had to talk her down multiple times, often in voice. However, this time was in text, so I'm able to share it. Like, it isn't worth it for the net gain for maybe $50 a stream. It really isn't, and cost is unfortunately a big factor in if I do this or not, because if it doesn't generate enough, I can't justify the excess electricity or energy even if it is something I enjoy. The physical issues also just impede my abilities to where I cannot do what I used to do with ease even 6 months ago. Gamer streams are a consistent guaranteed income, like you enjoy doing it and hundreds of people show up, but if you keep this mentality, you'll keep making less because it will show in an air of ingratitude. Hope you're okay. Trust we understand since your health is a fucking nightmare to navigate with us healthcare. I just have to evaluate it based on time put in and what I get out of it. If I could just do it without a weight over my head, I would. To hit go live and stream and yap for 3-4 hours, you don't need to edit yourself or do extensive promo. You already have a well-sized viewer base that brings in more than I made as a civil engineer. It's just a low period. But having more things on my shoulders make that incredibly difficult. You'll be fine. I get from an emotional standpoint because the health stuff really does suck, but I don't make $50 a stream right now ain't a valid reason. Stream income is random and highly variable and part of the business. I mean, she's right. Sometimes some streams that you're not going to get a lot of income, and that's fine, but it's about consistency. You have to stay consistent. But Radia has a lot of health issues, and she was saying that she was like extremely busy, and her like daily routine to deal with her issues also seems very intensive. So, I mean, I kind of get it that she feels it's got to be worth it for her because, I mean, she needs the income. It's like life and death almost for her. It's not like, oh, whatever, if I don't have the money, I'll be fine. No, she needs it because she needs to buy a shit ton of meds. I completely understand you need to take time away due to heal concerns or stress, especially due to the testing, and emotionally taking time would be good, but money being a deciding factor on whether or not to stream, it just makes you so much more stress. And to me, it isn't a healthy mindset, especially because I know how much you love streaming. Radia says, it's more of a trade-off. Do I benefit more from the hours there or more from other work efforts? I'm essentially forced to evaluate it in that way currently. Is it worth the mental boost if I physically hurt after? Yeah, and she has a full-time job. You are literally the largest streamer in this group and one of the biggest. I think this is what really bothers them, is that she might be more successful than them and she's complaining still. But it's all relative. The other girls might be doing more, but Radia seems to have a lot more expenses. I mean, she might be making more money than the other girls, but she also seems to have more expenses. I wish I could say I'd feel embarrassed over 400 viewers and near civil engineering income. It's not embarrassing. Your healthcare suffering because of the American system failing you and your day job being a psychopath is a valid thing to feel awful over and need support though. What work, lol. Your day job won't pay you more. What you going to do with that time that's more productive? You really should not value income to self-worth and a success as a streamer. Certification work or dedicating time towards refining my professional career more is what she suggests. Adora says, at least on stream you have a supportive community. I mean, if you wanted to use that time to find a new job, sure. But in the end, we're talking about 3-4 hours 3 times a week, and it prints money traditionally for you. Just a low period right now. I have a really limited energy and time pool that I find myself struggling to provide quality content even on a good day. I have zero reason to lie to you on this, and you already are providing quality content with what you do. Radia says, which is mentally exhausting in its own way when I don't physically feel well. And Adora says, stop comparing yourself to others, just look at the numbers and how good they are, for fuck's sake. I mean, TBH, content creators that always complain about like viewership and money, it's like annoying when you gotta redo the pep talk with them like every few weeks, and it's like a cycle. I'm like, When it comes to my friends or, you know, acquaintances and they like vent DM me like that, I'll console you once. But I'm not doing this every few weeks again. Like, figure it out. Like, I've already given you the tools. I've already given you the advice once. After that, figure it out. And if you can't separate the two, then, you know, content creation might not be for you. I'll do it once, but I don't have the energy to do it over and over again because I know how people are. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. It's gonna keep going. Chatter subs income fluctuates so wildly in this space, you never know how it's gonna turn out, since maybe one day a chatter gets a wild hair or something and ends up being super kind, and people don't always show up for certain types of content. People generally like you as you are, high energy content or low. Adora says your CCV is literally the highest it's ever been. And Radia's just like, I'm just really distraught over the medical issues. I mean, that's what it comes down to. She's distraught over her medical stuff. And it's crazy that Adora is like, oh no, you really should keep on streaming, when she's the one that was like, yeah, I'm quitting streaming. It's not for me anymore. I want to focus on my IRL job. It's kind of hypocritical knowing that, now that we know that she wanted to quit, but instead she just like is rebranding, question mark? I don't really want to dive into it all, but it's so saddening when I can't play a game because my hands hurt so badly. Wow, that sucks, actually. And I get that. I want to, but I just randomly can't. Not comfortably, and that doesn't make good content because then I'm distracted and in pain. And that's okay to feel. I get it, love. Not being able to play something with your health sucks, but you often can play or at least talk, so it's good to savor when you can. I don't even feel I have the handle on my mind I did, which is actively distressing, especially in front of people. It's made me afraid to stream, honestly, and I'll be actually frank. Everything is secondary but far easier to bring up than the fact that I don't feel I can actively participate in something I enjoy. Radia knew my finances as well as Fenaris and Palms. I had only recently, as of the end of last year, finally made enough money to feel comfortable to no longer need SNAP benefits to work as a creator full-time as I pursued my career in content. We had generally been worried about her lack of gratitude toward her community, and this is important as it leads up to the intervention and why we did it. It's not really their problem if Radia doesn't want to feel gratitude towards her community, though. Like, let her handle her audience the way she wants to. Before Anime North, during our Project Stim announcement, Radia had used the event for all four of us to promote her off-guide throne gift to raise $2,000 so she could attend with us. She did not talk to us on this before that, and then begun to say that she had wanted all of us to go attend off-guide as Project Stim. This was never planned, as we were not invited as guests to off-guide as Project Stim, and we had just announced our group. Myself and Pomato Master had planned to go together, and Pomato Master offered an affordable room to me months prior due to my income. Fenari Mori had her own plans with her friends as well as unrelated to mine, and Palms, we were attending as ourselves, and Radia had never told us originally she had interest in going until around a month or so before we announced Project Stim. Yeah, exactly. What does Adora's opinion on how grateful Radia acts towards her community even matter? That's controlling as hell. Yeah, if Radia wants to burn herself with her community for being ungrateful, then that's her problem. I don't know why. I would never get together with a bunch of friends and be like, yo, we need to do an intervention on Radia because she's not grateful for her community enough. That's so weird. But anyway, during Anime North, while all four of us were staying together in the hotel room, a situation arose after dinner at a steakhouse. While myself and Fenari Mori were sleeping, Pomato Master had noticed Radia had gone live while in the bathroom. Live in the bathroom? Wow, okay. Confused, Palm realized Digital Vagrant had gone live on Radia's channel. Oh, that makes sense. Now, while we didn't know Radia had planned for her boyfriend to go live, and there is nothing wrong with that, however, she also proceeded to never tell us about this. Why would she need to tell them about this? During this stream, Radia had been in her own chat and begun to speak having food poisoning. Radia had claimed on her stream from her chat logs that myself, Fenari, and Pomato implied that she had wanted Chinese food when she never had. That's where the Chinese food allegation from the previous dogs came from. We thought it had something to do with food poisoning, did we? But we weren't sure. Before we had left to the steakhouse after the day, we asked if anyone had a dietary restriction, as we were open to go anywhere as well as we were fine with anywhere. She did not object. As well, during this stream, she then spoke on saying she had food poisoning to her community, while in our room. Her community proceeded to donate thousands of dollars generously to her. This is important for context later. She never told any of us of this food poisoning. And during this time, we were incredibly confused as community members had spoken to us showing concern when she had never told us anything while there with her in person. The next day, after I woke up, I drove her to the aquarium so she could swim with the stingrays for an experience by herself. Dude, I would never swim with stingrays, especially since that one guy died from a stingray, like piercing his heart, no? Like the crocodile dude. Steve Irwin. Dude, that is scary. She then ate a breakfast sandwich and then later frozen yogurt in front of me, having no idea she had been sick the night prior. Well, can she confirm that she was not sick the night prior? Did they have like separate hotel rooms or did they sleep like in the same hotel room? The evening of Sunday, while we were in the room, I was booking my flight to Off-Guy. I made a comment being sad that my flight price had increased by $150 since I waited until after Anime North to book it, and that it sucks since I'd need to tap my saving in order to make up the difference because I waited too long. Radia then responded to me by saying, "Oh, I should book my hotel room, I guess," angrily while they proceeded to book herself a suite while complaining she did not have the money. She then went, "I guess I might as well upgrade to a suite as it will only be $50 more." I responded with, "A night or the whole stay?" being confused as at this point, I did not know she had been generously donated thousands of dollars the night prior and was confused why she was spending more if she didn't have it. She responded with, "No, the entire stay." I dropped the subject after that, confused. So now she's like worried about Radia's finances. I mean, the only part that I could kind of understand so far is if she genuinely thinks that Radia might be scamming people by, pretending that she has food poisoning. But again, she has to be 100% sure that she did not get food poisoning before making those claims. After all this had happened and realizing a lot of actions were not adding up from Radia, there was no luring because we wanted to talk to her as concerned friends and as soon as possible so we could figure out what was going on. Myself, Fumato Master, and Fenari decided we needed to talk to her about these issues as soon as possible. The altered document was in fact the original list we used in reference to talk to her about during the intervention because we were worried about her. Myself, Fumato Master, and Fenari Mori all wrote this document together because we wanted to make sure before we talked to Radia. Many of these points come up in the intervention, as you will hear in the recording below. However, the document was also not meant to ever be sent to anyone, which is ultimately my fault. Because we wanted to keep communication lines open, and after the intervention, I was asked by Fen to send a bulletin point list of what the intervention covered, since we wanted to make sure Radia's local support network was involved. So that's why she sent it to her boyfriend. In my rush and stupidity, I instead tried to edit down the intervention list we wrote together and did this poorly and without Fen or Palm's approval. The intervention list had points in it written rather poorly, and while the three of us were hurt and should never have been shared. How was this? There's so many grammatical errors and just sentences that aren't like complete, and it's been like proofread apparently by her family. And should never have been shared after the intervention was done. This was not done in malice, it was done in stupidity and me trying to help make things better because at this point, still wanted to fix my friendship with Radia and was being lazy. I genuinely regret making the situation worse in this regard when all I wanted to do was try to communicate but failed to do so, causing stress for everyone involved on all sides. Ultimately, myself, Fumato, and Fenari were hurt by Radia at this point. Below is the entire recording between us and this intervention because we already were beginning to not trust Radia at this point and were concerned for ourselves as well that this might turn into more than what it was. The three of us agreed to record it for our own safety. Please continue to read while you listen for context. The first 20 minutes of this call is in regards to the event that was the final straw of us giving her a benefit of the doubt. I would ask the reader and listener to keep this in mind as this was the most recent events and fresh in everyone's memories, leading us circling back to the other more important events that led to this confrontation further into the call. Up until 1730, we lead with emotion because of our hurt, where it is then brought back and Radia comes off alluding to the fact that Fen, Palm, and myself were not looking out for Radia at the convention, despite asking everyone, including her, what they wanted to eat and keeping dietary restrictions in mind. So far they're upset because of two things. One, that she might have lied about food poisoning, and two, that she might have lied on Digi's stream about them like pressuring her to eat Chinese food? Question mark? All right, let's listen to the audio now.
This can go here.
I can't hear anything. What the fuck?
Repacking sucks.
Yeah.
So let's so we're waiting for Palm a slight bit because it is something that involves her. So we all need to be here together. So give her a minute or two to finish it and stop the fucking band-aid. We all need to sit down and have a very serious talk.
Incredibly serious.
What's going on? A lot.
A lot.
Who wants to spearhead?
I think I should probably spearhead it, unfortunately.
All right.
Radia, there's a big issue that unfortunately came up during the convention. And to start, there was a Saturday night stream, question mark?
Yeah.
Silence.
Okay, and that's fine. I just want to know, in that situation, why were you overemphasizing food poisoning during that moment when we had no idea anything was going on in the room?
I didn't think it was a big deal because it was just towards me and I didn't feel good.
Radia, to the people around you, i.e. me, Radia, Adora, and Palm, you are immunocompromised. You are on a lot of medication. When you get sick, it is extremely important. And to wake up to find out that you had apparently had food poisoning. When I had food poisoning like last month, I know how serious it can be. And to find out on top of that, there was a stream that it felt like you were hiding from us. It's not it doesn't affect everyone else because it does.
I mean,
honestly, Adora seemed really fixated on the money. Is that the impression you got? They're very accusatory in the way they're approaching the situation, which probably isn't helping making Radia open up.
you came back to the room after going to the jacuzzi. Everyone was asleep except me.
And I didn't feel clear.
Well, I asked you how was everything. You're like, oh, it was good. And then you went into the bathroom and then a stream started. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay. And it was obviously a takeover stream, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why this was. I was like, I don't know why we never heard about this. Because, like, I don't know. I thought, like, it's not a big deal to do something like that. Like, Digi's your partner. Of course, he's going to, like, take over for you and do something for you. Like, that's great for him to do that. But it felt like it was done very quietly. And then no mention of it happened the next day at all. And all I woke up, because I went to sleep in the middle of that, right? I think I messaged, Radia, you're streaming? ? And you saw that. And then I passed out.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm in the bathroom.
Yeah. I passed out. And then I woke up to a message in my Discord from someone being like, is Radia okay? I'm like, what? And at the time, like, you woke up, you got up, you went about your business, you left the room before I did. You didn't have any issues eating that day. That doesn't sound like food poisoning to me. Like, I'm not saying that your stomach didn't feel poorly, right? Like, I, as someone who has stomach issues, I know stomachs can get fucked up. But when I looked back at the stream, because I was like, what the fuck happened when someone said you had food poisoning? There's multiple mentions about being on the bathroom floor.
I was on the floor in the toilet because I kept, like, violently releasing my bowels, and I was like, this has to be the me. It has to be sick from me.
Releasing the bowels upwards or down?
I spit up and, like, spit up whatever was in my stomach, and then it was just, like, a lot of, like, really watery stool.
Right. I understand that you had some issues, but food poisoning is a very big deal and people were concerned about you. And it seemed like it was being very hammed up in that stream, only for the next day to have no mention of it. Like, I'm not saying that people with chronic illnesses can't hide stuff. Like, you kind of just get over it. But even when I have a bad lactose attack, I can't eat properly the next day. And from what I've heard, you were eating just fine.
Yeah.
These vibes are not chill. I do not like these vibes at all so far. This is extremely accusatory. It's an interrogation. They brought her to the police. Yeah, policing her sickness. She's like, when I got food poisoning, the next day I couldn't eat at all. Okay, but sometimes you get food poisoning, you feel a little bit sick for a couple hours, then you're fine. There's different types of food poisoning. Hello?
I felt fine after like I voided my body. I felt fine.
Radia,
That's not how that works.
I got food poisoning last month. I wasn't able to eat properly for 2 days. I couldn't hold down a cracker because my body rejected everything so bad. I was throwing up from 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, nonstop. And I was not able to eat solid food until the evening of the very next day, where it was a thing of soup.
Yeah, I just thought it was food poisoning from eating.
When you think about it, they're gatekeeping. They're gatekeeping food poisoning. That's so crazy.
The meat.
Insane.
That's
It was
what
not.
I thought. So,
If you've had food poisoning ever in your life, you know what food poisoning is and you know what food poisoning isn't.
like I've gotten over food poisoning quickly, like when I've eaten bad lettuce.
You don't get
rotten
over food
lettuce,
poisoning
or-
in under 12 hours. That's just not a thing that happens, especially if you're immunocompromised. And I guess the issue here is that you're allowed to feel bad. No one's saying that you didn't feel bad after, but you presented a certain situation to your community to make money, and it was not true.
Well, I didn't. That I thought I had. That's what I thought I had because I was like, it was far past any medication I had taken. So my only logic was, I am sick from the meat because that's what it's felt like when I'm just violently going to the bathroom without medication. Like that's not.
Well, there are definitely doctors in this call. I mean, okay, maybe Radia like misdiagnosed herself. But does it really change anything to her community? Do you think it would have been such a big deal or a different result if she told her community she got food poisoning, or if she told them I ate something bad and I keep I'm in the bathroom and I really don't feel good? It's the same result.
So
Yeah, Sean.
Then if overnight and if the next morning you felt fine enough to eat, why still push the food poisoning in your Discord talking about how you had food poisoning the next day? If you wake up feeling fine, you know it's not food poisoning, but you kept the narrative up.
that's not. I thought I had it. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I thought I had because I've gotten sick from food before, and it's not lasted like multiple days. It's been 10 days.
But it doesn't last under 12 hours. I made sure to look into this because I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong. It literally lasts at least usually over 12 hours, right?
Because I didn't eat until later that afternoon.
That's not
so
true.
The rest,
That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. We talked about this. It's not true. Adora, were you in the car
Yes.
with Radia?
And she
on
was
the way to the
eating.
aquarium?
She was eating a Tim Hortons breakfast sandwich on the way to the aquarium, which was
That was
only 11 hours after you had.
Like witness number one, calling witness number one to corroborate my statement on the stand. And he's like, yes, I saw her eat a breakfast sandwich and there was mayo in it.
Gone to bed or gone and done the streaming portion. We were still not even 12 hours
aggressive.
over. You then proceeded to, as someone who says they are lactose intolerant, eat yogurt in front of me. The entire bit of it.
I
So-
can eat that. I can eat a bit of it. I can't eat a lot. Like I can't eat like heavy fat ice cream. But yogurt is a fine thing for me to eat.
Okay.
It doesn't upset my stomach. Like I've been okay with yogurt.
Okay, so she can eat
Mine
yogurt.
is not.
and a creamy
Like a
Alfredo
violent-
pasta with seafood shortly after at the rec room, after you have said you had food poisoning and then did not tell us anything about this the next day. I never heard anything about this at all after you said you were saying you were sick to your community
Mm.
while we were in the room in a hotel.
Looks like it,
You know how hard
Kawasa.
that is to know your friend is saying they are sick only to and hear from a chatter, a community member, that you feel sick first and not you.
Oh, stop with the fake pretense. Like, okay, I don't buy this fake. Oh, you should have told us you were sick. We would have taken care of you. This is dangerous for your health. They're not doing this for her sake. They just want to know if she's lying or not. Let's be honest for a second. Let's be honest for a second. This is so fake. I can hear it in their voice.
Alone.
So
Cut the
to do a
crap.
small summary, it feels like you're not being entirely honest with us.
Or your
I am.
community. Or your community.
I'm being
It's
honest.
both.
Like That's what I thought I had to. Like, that steak was red and raw.
It was not raw. It was red. And you did not have that much of it. And I'm not saying that that did not upset your stomach a little bit. I'm saying that you did not have food poisoning. You did not act like you had food poisoning the next day in any capacity. But you kept this up with your community while never mentioning it to us, and also just never bringing up the stream that happened, which I find to be very just weird, right? Because that stream was incredibly successful for you.
It was
I said
rare.
it was going to happen.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
None of us knew.
I mean, I'm not saying that, like, yeah, there are some things that Radia is saying that are not adding up, right? There's some stuff that Radia is saying that are not adding up. Like, how can she be eating, you know, a rare steak if she is immunodeficient and all of that? But I don't care that much at the end of the day, and I don't think her community cares that much either, and they're way more cringe than whatever, even if she is lying, what they're doing is like so cringe. Yeah, I don't know why she's being grilled so hard for this.
You never
I
said
mentioned
anything.
Nobody.
I mentioned that they were going to take over for me for the.
No, you did not.
You did not.
You did not.
Never.
You did not tell any of us that. You didn't mention it the day after. When we woke up the next day, all I remember hearing from you is, oh, I stayed up a little late last night because I wasn't feeling super well. That's all I heard. There was no mention of that stream once, which is very cagey and very strange.
She wasn't on the stream.
And I'm trying to figure out why.
She wasn't even on the stream. Why didn't you tell us you were sick? We could have all mean girled you about it then instead of making us wait until now. That's a good one. I like this super chat. Thank you. Yeah, it's because she made money without telling them about it. Exactly. If you make money on somebody else's stream, on her boyfriend's stream, she should tell her friends about it. I feel like they want her to, they're like, I don't know, they're like babying her, but in a condescending way. As if she's just a child.
Why that was the case?
I just
Because,
didn't
like-
think about talking about the stream that happened because I thought I had told you all that they were going to take over for the weekend, at least for one of the days.
Oh,
and it
okay,
had been
Cassie.
delayed. I didn't expect it to happen that late. And I told him, you don't need to do it that late. But he went and did it anyways.
But it's not, the problem isn't that they did a stream for you. It's not that. It's that there seems to be a kind of purposeful omission of telling us at any point, either before or after, even though it went very well for you, right? And there was a complaining about finances a day after that you did very well. It seems like a purposeful omission.
No,
Because we
I wasn't.
don't care if you stream. We don't care if you make
No.
money. We don't care if you stream. That's not at all what we care about. But to
Just-
find out you had a stream that you hid from us, which we don't care. Again, we do not care if you stream. We do not care if you make money. But it feels like you purposefully hid it from us. You never mentioned anything. It, just like Palm said, it felt very cagey. And the very next day, after making a few $1,000s on that stream, you were booking a hotel and you were saying, I can't afford it. Radia, you just made thousands of dollars on the stream the night before. What do you mean you can't afford it?
I don't think I.
You are
didn't think I-
complaining to two people who have to save up year round to afford something that I can't afford it. The morning after you made thousands.
This is it. This is what she just said. This is why they're making the call. This is the real reason why they're upset. They just revealed it there. They just didn't mean to. This is the real reason why they're making this call. It's because she made more money than them and they had to save or blah, 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 pity party. Why are they acting like she got paid immediately? I don't know. They're being weird about
Thousands
it.
of dollars on a stream that, no one knew about.
Yeah, but I wasn't trying to do that. And
Do you understand why we're feeling this way?
No,
It's like you are purposefully being secretive and you're hiding stuff from us and you're trying. It feels like you're making it seem like you're way worse off than you are.
We're your friends,
No.
Radia. I am your best friend. You can be honest with me. You can tell me these things. That's okay. I just need you to talk to me.
Who is this person talking right now? Damn, that's your best friend? These are your friends like this. Who needs enemy? Sheesh.
And not be cagey or secretive or hide it from me, especially things that don't matter, like having your boyfriend stream while you're there or whatever. I didn't know about that. You didn't tell us you had a successful stream. You could just talk about these things. You're allowed to.
think about mentioning it the next day because my mind wasn't on that. I'm going to be honest. I didn't next day.
But you said something like, I stayed up late because I wasn't feeling well, not I stayed up late because I wasn't feeling well and I was watching my stream. It was like a weird, you know what I mean? It's like, this is,
I wasn't trying to omit anything. But I understand the concern.
well, here's the thing. You have health issues. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Like I
We're emphasizing health issues to make money because I could see I looked at those logs because I didn't want this to be the case, Radia. I really did not. I'm not looking to do this. It makes me feel disgusting even thinking about it. But I was looking in chat and I was seeing message after message of I am on the floor. I feel so bad. Like, and people were worried enough about you that one of them went to my Discord and asked about it.
Yeah, I just
They
was
wanted to
trying
check
to
on you.
Yeah, I was just trying to have a good outlook, I guess, as I'm like shitting my brains out.
But yeah, chat came to us because they were worried about you and wanted us to check you when we are in the room with you. Do you know how weird it is that we do not know anything about you being sick when we are in the room with you, to where chatters are asking us to check up on you? Just looking from an outside point, that's not right. You know how much we care about you. We know how much we worry about you.
Okay.
But to chat, we don't give a fuck, apparently. To chat, we don't care enough that you're feeling well to check up on you. To chat, they have to be the ones to ask us to check up on you or mention it publicly so we can check up on you, because to them, we don't care about you. Because we're not paying attention to the fact that you're sick. We don't care that you're sick. They do.
I guarantee you that no chatter thought that way, and I bet no one has even said that. I guarantee you no chatter has even said that. It's kind of like, okay, let's say, it's like when I traveled to Japan and Sayu and Parrot were rooming in other rooms, but there's sometimes full days where we didn't see each other. And when we go back home, we each go to our rooms. And let's say Parrot streamed and said he had a stomach ache. And then I streamed the next day. You guys could come in my chat and be like, yo, did you check on Parrot? Is he feeling better? Is his stomach ache better? And I wouldn't be like, yo, Parrot, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me you felt sick? Do you realize, why are you lying to me? Why didn't you tell me? Like, no, dude. What the fuck is this shit? This is so unnatural.
But we don't?
Yeah.
When we don't even know because you're hiding it from us. It's not something to hide, Radia.
And it wasn't, and you hid the whole thing that happened the night before, but then you were totally fine the next day, to the point where it's very clearly, like, it was very clearly not food poisoning. So what do we do now when we have chatters come up to us, like, how's Radia doing? Because if we didn't figure this all out, it would have been chatters coming to us being like, how's Radia doing? And we would have been like, what?
What do you mean? She wasn't sick. How do you think chat's going to look at you when you have this whole dramatic moment of being sick in a stream? They come to us and they say, oh, is she feeling better? What do you mean? She was never sick.
Or you just say, I wasn't aware she was sick. I'll talk to her later, or I'll ask her later. That's it.
Do you understand
It's not a big of a deal.
why that's not okay?
I do. Like, I'm sorry for
it's
not.
a really, really bad look. And like, I guess the thing is, it's like, I have minor health issues comparatively, right?
Yeah.
But I never ham that shit up. I have IBS,
Yeah.
I am shitting, whatever. I'm having a bad time. I never ham up my health. You never ham up your health and your health situation to make more money.
It's
That's not
like
what I was.
And they said it makes us look
hated
bad.
Mind.
profit off of an illness.
How that you're sick, it makes us look bad. I think they're also upset that they think she's profiting off, like, faking her illness, which faking your illness is something that's pretty messed up, because then people who are genuinely sick, it takes away from those people. But I think she is genuinely sick. She showed us all the medication in her Google Doc. She has an insane regimen just to be able to function normally.
That wasn't my objective at all.
The timing of when things were said, it very much comes off like that. I don't know what to tell you besides the timing of when things were said
Okay.
very much comes off like that, right?
Yeah, I get that.
I want to mention another thing that was said during that stream in the chat that hurts me very personally. Is you said, trust me, I didn't choose it. Trust me, I wanted Chinese food. We offered, and the walk there, before we even left, does anyone have any requests or needs for dietary concerns? That is something we always talk about before we go out anywhere to make sure that people can be taken care of. And you are saying this in front of your community like we don't care by saying that.
We mentioned other places. We mentioned, yeah, we can go, like, we're not going to go to K-Barbecue because we've been doing that too much. We mentioned Chinese before. We mentioned Italian. We mentioned a lot of different options. You never said anything about You said, yeah, no, those are safe options. Chinese food is usually a safe option. You
She's kind of yelling, dude. I don't like her energy at all. She is loud, and I'm a loud person, but she is very aggressive.
never said, oh, I want to go to Chinese. You never wanted to go. You just said that it was a safe option, just like how I was saying Italian is a safe option. And coming across that we don't care about you. Again, coming across that, oh, you wanted something? Fuck you. We're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that was not, again, I was not trying to appear like that. And I'm,
It's it's throwing people under the bus.
yeah,
It is.
I understand. That was not my like objective at the end of the day. Like I was fine with doing something for the larger group that was like convenient.
I have a question.
Hmm.
At this point in time, would you be comfortable just telling your community, hey, no, I was never sick. I had a little bit of a tummy trouble. I didn't actually have food poisoning. Would you feel comfortable doing that? Or would you feel like you would be putting yourself at risk?
No, I'd be comfortable telling them that because I thought at the time it was legitimately food poisoning because the only thing I could think of is I ate the steak that was very, very, very red, near like raw. It had
A question.
chewy Play-Doh texture.
As a question, as someone who is immunocompromised, are you supposed to eat rare meat?
It's okay for me to eat rare meat. I'm not supposed to eat like raw
Shouldn't.
steak, but I can eat
Shouldn't.
rare meat.
You shouldn't, though.
I shouldn't.
Rare meat because I'm me.
Huh?
If it's pink, it's fine. Like I've been told it's okay if I can eat rare. I'm
But
not.
rare is not
eat
pink.
raw.
Rare is red. Every restaurant you will ever go to, rare is red.
Pink is
I've
medium.
got-
pink
I was
is
also
medium rare.
confused by the I am me
Is it?
statement.
Yeah.
Yep.
Red is red,
Okay.
raw. Yeah.
I have had overcooked steak, I guess, because it's been like pink when I've asked for it. Because I asked rare more towards like medium rare. I just said rare and think about it. Usually they overcook steak. So I didn't think, but I can have steak. I just can't eat like tartare.
I love
or raw-
tartare.
Raw meat. I'm not supposed to eat raw meats like that.
We're starting to get off track. Do we want to start getting back on?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's get the call back to how she made you guys look bad. They're like, let's get back on topic, guys. This is about her making us look bad, not about the type of steaks. Please, let's stay focused.
I don't have anything that helps me.
The concern, one of our major concerns here, is the over flourishing of health situations, whether it be for money,
Yeah, you and
whether
me
it be
both,
for
women.
attention, whether it be for whatever. It's a bad look,
Yeah.
and it's happened more than once, from what I can tell.
It gives us another issue where it feels dishonest. It feels like you're not being truthful. And that, unfortunately, being untrue about one or two things can make it seem to where we're stuck wondering, okay, so what were you truthful about? What else were you not truthful about? What else were you hiding? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like you were hiding stuff from us. Because then now we're stuck thinking, okay, so what else is hidden? What else is being hidden from us? What else is not being told to us?
I wasn't trying to hide any of this. I didn't actively think about it.
But you knew you had a very successful stream night, and for some reason that never came up. In addition to you supposedly telling your entire community you were on the ground with food poisoning and never rolling that back at any point.
I didn't think of it. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think about it.
But you did
Afterwards.
think about complaining about the price of the hotel room. And you did mention that you had stayed up late, but with very limited information about that on the front of streaming or the food poisoning,
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't add up. That's the problem. It doesn't add up, right? Like I don't really know. Like if you put yourself in our shoes and you saw this, how we're seeing this, it's like, what? The question is what? Why? Right?
I understand.
Here's a small one.
I just don't.
Here's
Yeah.
a small one related to this. When you were discussing the hotel that you were booking for Offkai, you mentioned it would only cost $50 more for an entire stay to upgrade to a suite.
Yeah.
That's not how hotels work. As
That's what it said. Like
Good.
that's what it said. It literally had a difference of
Can
like
you show us?
$50.
can you show us,
Please show us the receipt.
please?
Why do you
Um,
care?
Sure. Let me find it.
Why does it matter? What the fuck?
Because when I was comparing prices, it had a like 1-bedroom king, and then it was like, here's the yeah, there you go.
I don't know. They're like doing Inquisition with her.
And I told you it was about $1,200 for the entire weekend. There it is.
Okay. Can you show us what a non-suite would be then? That is only $50 more a night. Is it $50 more a night, or is it $50 more an entire stay?
But why would she? Why do you?
was $50 more a night.
You told us to stay multiple times, both me and
Excuse me.
So what?
Stay. I'm sorry. I'm being bombarded by 3 people trying to like pull things.
I'm not saying anything right now.
But even if she mentioned that to her community would give, I don't get it, because let's say she mentioned that to her community, so they would donate the difference, right? Well, then she screwed herself, because she could have, she basically is asking for $50, but she could have asked for $50 times the amount of nights that she stayed there. So I don't understand why they're mad at her. Okay, I don't get the point of this argument. Am I not understanding this right? Like, what the hell is going on?
Can you show us the DM you made with Juniper, please?
Oh boy.
Asking her for the meet and greet.
She never discussed it with her stream, just with them? Then why do they care?
Okay, I never sent it.
You said to us.
Did you send it to
sent
Spite?
Did you send one to Spite?
I did send
You
one.
said, can you show us that?
I am mauling at this so hard. Like, I did not expect this to be so...
Because you told us you
Mold-inducing.
sent multiple reminders to Juniper as well.
No, I sent, this is what I sent to Spite. And I sent the thing to Juniper and I was going to go remind people. And I fucking forgot. I must have.
I am happy that you sent the message to Spite. I appreciate that. Thank you for showing that to us. That makes me...
Like, if you didn't look at the stream title, chat, and you just were listening to the recording, you would think this is a recording that would be found in Radia's document, like showcasing how awful they were to her. But this is supposed to defend Adora. How could she possibly think this made her look good? You are so far off.
Me feel better.
Because that was the copy that I had used in the DMs, and I never pressed send to Juniper on my phone, and I thought I did. Because
Then, when you said that you sent a reminder to Juniper, because we even asked, did you not see that then?
I said I was going to send a reminder, and I never sent a reminder.
You told me you did send a reminder because I offered to reach out myself. You told me specifically that you did send a reminder.
I don't remember that. I thought I said I will send her. I said I will.
You said for both Juniper and Spite, as far as I can tell, you said you sent reminders, as in an action that was done, as opposed to an action that you planned to do.
I thought I did. I'm sorry.
Damn, poor Radia. She sounds so dejected.
I thought I said
The
that.
problem with this is that we found out that Juniper had never gotten a message, despite the fact that you told us that she had gotten a message. So multiple. So again, it's like, well, this was something that wasn't true that was told to us, right? And I've always been of the perspective, I've even had this talk with Adora. If there's a lot going on in your life that you just do not have the mental bandwidth to deal with something, I'd rather you tell me that so that we can figure it out, as opposed to telling me it's happening when it isn't, because then there's no way to compensate for that. Right? Did we not have this conversation, Adora?
We did. Right. I had stated with the trailer basically that I was not in the mental wherewithal to do it, and me and Palm then started reaching out to editors shortly thereafter. After I had said that to her, and that's how we got Sunwon. I had also reached out to Gob or whatever.
The problem is, if you tell me the truth of I'm dealing with a lot right now, I don't have the bandwidth to really deal with this or whatever, it can be compensated for. If you tell me something that isn't true, then I never know to compensate for it. Right. And I don't know if we ever would have gotten Juniper or Spite or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But we weren't even really given the chance, because one ping in Spite's direction with all the shit she's doing right now is not enough to get her attention. And to not send anything to Juniper, again, we're obviously never going to get her attention. And that's a lost opportunity. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this point, I feel like they're a little bit more in the right about it. You know, if she told them that she had contacted these people for like a collab or something, and then she didn't do it, I get it. But again, the way they're going about it, you're never gonna get anything from her going about it in this aggressive way. And on top of that, it's like, and you did this, and you did that, and why did you do this the other day? And you do this all. It's like, instead of tackling each problem when it happened, or as they happened, they make this call where they go over all the stuff that they feel that she's done wrong, and it's gonna be overwhelming for anybody. And she's gonna feel ganged up, that's for sure.
There's that.
Yeah, let the petty grievances pile up, exactly.
Do we want to talk on the next thing that we have issue with?
I'm going to be very upfront about this. This has been a building of issues, and unfortunately, some of this has just been because I think a lot of us, like all of us, have been trying. You've been going through a lot, and we've been hearing from you how much you've been going through, and we've wanted to protect you, right? So when there's been weird things that have come up that were questionable, it's like, well, we don't bring it up because it's like that's just going to make matters worse right now, right? But then it's led to the breaking point, which is the Saturday situation, right? Because that was a breaking point. The only reason I knew that stream even happened was because I happened to be staying up a little bit later. And then when I mentioned it to Fen and Adora, they had no clue, right? And then I had to hear from them about this issue with the hotel room. And I think I'm gonna start with that because I think it's a good place to start because it's relevant to everything, and then we can cover the rest of the stuff. But Anime North was an opportunity that came about because of my effort that I was incredibly happy to share with you guys, right? And I couldn't have done it at least without Stoneforged, right? That I could share, right? You got a free badge. You got a free hotel room. Like, we might have to pay a little bit, but it's fundamentally free, right? It was a free opportunity. Never came across that way, right? And anytime we were working on this opportunity, something that came up constantly was off-Kai. I had a room with Adora. We had planned this out months in advance, right? Months in advance, before I knew that I was getting a cheaper hotel room. And we were rooming together because our finances aren't the strongest, right?
Yeah.
And when I got a cheaper hotel room, it's like, our finances aren't the strongest. We're rooming together. This is perfect for us, right? And I have another friend, Mero Maris.
Do we know which states they're in?
Who also doesn't have a great, really doesn't have a great financial situation. So of course they can crash on my couch. But when we brought that up, I felt like you, on multiple occasions, were trying to pressure your way into this room, which was unfair. And then you even went as far to say that you felt like you were left out because we did not invite you to our room, when there was no way for us to know that you had no plans prior.
It was not an insinuation to join the room. That isn't what I wanted. I felt like I just wasn't invited to.
To what? But wasn't invited to what?
To off-Kai in general.
By who?
By who? None of us were invited. None of us were invited to off-Kai.
We all
chose
to go on our own.
Yeah, I know. I was
be invited to mention.
I was being very stupid about it. I just felt left out.
But it's hurtful. You have to understand how hurtful it is, because it's like, I know you're about to be able to attend a convention for free, but all I'm hearing is that you're upset with me because I'm not giving you room in my hotel and I have left you out.
Yeah, that was not,
right?
Again, I was not trying to do that. That was not my insinuation, and I'm sorry.
But the problem
Dude, I feel so bad for Radia, and I am taking mental damage from this call.
is that for one reason or another, there seems to be an overall trend of a lack of consideration or gratitude for what people around you are doing. I'm not asking for my dick to be sucked. I never want my dick to be sucked. That is not something I am looking for, right? But I also, there has to be some sort of recognition of ayo, this person just gave me something. I'm not going to then literally try, do something that makes them feel like shit for no reason, right? You know? I'm not asking for dick sucking, but I'm also not asking to be kind of piled on and have extra stress on my back, right? This entire opportunity, I know that you're the only one with a full-time job. I never asked anything of I tried to keep my requests of you very minimal because I know you have the least time of any of us, right?
Right. Yeah, I know.
Right?
And
that was intentional. That was an intentional choice. And
I felt like I just kept fucking up.
It's only a fuck up. It's only a fuck up when you don't show the gratitude, any sort of gratitude. It's not a fuck up when you aren't able to do something because you're working and dealing with stuff. That's not the fuck up. The fuck up is not recognizing what people are doing for you, because it's not just this. I'm going to stop ranting now because there's other people in this call. It's not just about me, obviously, but
I understand.
Fen, Adora, do you want to bring up?
I'll talk about the next one. It's Radia. I have known, and I've hinted at this before in the past, but I have known in the past year.
I love Radia and support her throughout all of this, but I think Adora really backstabbed Palm releasing this unless she had consent. Maybe she asked her, I'm not sure, but yeah, this does put Palm under the radar, under the microscope too, because she's gonna get some backlash from the way she's handling the call, that's for sure.
2 years of knowing you, that you have
because
spoken
this doesn't look good on her
private with Kono about how I do not help you enough. And that hurts a lot. But because I love you and you are my friend, I saw that as she has brainworms. I get it. It's fine. she'll be better. She doesn't actually believe these things. She's just saying.
Yeah, I can believe that, and I can believe that Radia might have messed up from time to time, or maybe done some white lies that they were annoyed with, or maybe there is like behavior that over time piled on that they didn't like from her. They're really not good at expressing it, and they're not good at figuring out what part of these grievances they are actually like allowed to complain about. I don't know if you made us look bad, and you're not being grateful enough to us is like genuine. Like I've literally never said that to anybody in my life. And I think if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, you are a weirdo.
It with Kono, it's whatever, and I let it move on there. But it hurts a lot to hear these things, and Kono was not happy about telling me these things either. And it's frustrating when you talk to me about Gobson, who is a dedicated clipper for you that has helped you grow so much without you having to do anything other than stream, and then tell me that you don't think he did enough for you when he never had to do anything for you at that time. It's a lack of gratitude, Radia.
Dude, the fact that Adora is bringing this up in front of other people is so humiliating. Yes, this hurt my soul. I took mental damage from this part. Like, holy shit, what the fuck is this, dude?
We have to be grateful to the people who help us and do good things for us.
I am incredibly grateful, and I remember
show
saying
it.
I don't think he's going to
Please. Just show it and stop saying these things. To me, to Kono, to others, it's not helpful to you. It's not helpful to anyone to show that. It doesn't show any gratitude.
I like that she was like, it's not, and instead of being like, it's annoying, she said, it's not helpful to you. Like, they're trying to spin this like as if they're thinking of her, you know. It's just for you. It's not good for you, obviously. Not that we mind, but if I'm keeping you in mind, you know, I don't think you should do that. They're like, oh, we care about you so much.
Sorry, I genuinely did not really realize.
But this circles back to another, it's the same thing, right? We've had this conversation before in text, in call, about the lack of gratitude towards even your own community, right?
I mean, I'm incredibly grateful. Like,
this has been an...
It's like there's different complaints that are maybe okay to bring up in DM, but there's so much shit in this call far too humiliating and vulnerable to just release publicly like this. Yeah. I mean, I've heard from multiple sources that Radia might not be like a perfect victim and all of that. And I am, still questioning some things, like, playing up maybe the health issues, if that's true. I don't know if it's true or not. That could be potentially bad. But just the way they're going about it is it's so over the top, and they're not focusing on the right stuff. And they're doing it in front of everybody. And then Adora's bringing up stuff that Radia has told her, like, in private. Just bring it up to her. Like, when it's happening, be like, oh, well, you shouldn't talk shit about your clipper. He's doing so much. You're fine. You don't have to say that in front of other people. You're never going to get through to somebody if you're humiliating them and you're embarrassing them. And when you confront people and you're negotiating, because everything is a negotiation in life, you got to give them a way out or a way to meet you that's not that one is a solution they'd be comfortable taking, and two, a solution that's not gonna like make them feel embarrassed, that's not gonna hurt their ego.
Issue where
Multiple
I have
times.
been concerned if this kept going, it would end you. I'm gonna be so fucking transparent about that. It has happened 3 times that I know of where someone has said, like, you have mentioned your lack of gratitude for the amount of money people are giving you, even though they do it
Out of the kindness
out
of
of
their
the
hearts.
goodness of the kindness of their hearts. The economy's in fucking shambles, right? Yeah. So I heard that there was one situation in DMs with someone who usually gives you, like, who donates a lot of money to you and other people, who told you that they couldn't because of tax season, right?
Yeah.
And then you got angry at them about that.
I never got angry at Sobek. I can show you my DMs.
You got angry about them with us.
I never got angry about Sobek. I said I was upset that someone had tried to use Sobek. I've never been angry at Sobek.
We're not talking about Nemes. That is a conversation where Sobek was being used by someone like Nemes. No, this is completely unrelated to that.
I've been angry with Sobek in my DMs. I have.
Was this
DMs with-
Sobek? I thought this was someone else.
No.
Well,
Why would
Rover
I be angry?
I thought this, yeah.
The only time I was upset with Rover is because like I just
That's what I'm
felt
talking
hurt.
about, is that one. But why
Yeah,
did you feel hurt?
I felt hurt because it had been a constant line that had been brought up, and it just felt like I didn't matter. It wasn't the money; it was the feeling that
This should have been a leak call. Like this is the kind of call that gets leaked usually by like a burner account, not the kind of call that you yourself release. This is the kind of stuff you don't want the internet to find.
I was somehow it was okay to hurt me. I felt like that was
It's Rover. Rover would never do anything to hurt you on purpose. You know him.
While
You
giving
never-
you a lot of money.
I know, and I said I understood. Like he was like, I didn't mean it to come off that way, and I'm like, I know, and I appreciate you telling me that. Like I have ideas of it. I wasn't upset at him. I was upset at the fact that that just is something that it seemed like people thought was okay to do. It wasn't about the
What
money.
they were
just
doing,
felt-
it wasn't that it was okay to do, because again, this seems to be like a perfect replica of what happened when we were all on stream together. It was them trying to explain why at this moment they cannot give as much as they would want.
Yeah, and
That's all that is. It's not about not wanting to give money to you or whatever. The only reason they're reaching out is because they feel like they aren't going to be able to give as much as they want, and they want to provide context for that. So I'm assuming they were worried you were going to be left high and dry on your birthday.
I just think I fundamentally misunderstand that, because it's felt like it's directed to hurt me. Like,
Why would they try to hurt you when they're giving you all this fucking money? They're trying to explain themselves. They're trying to give you a reason and a context for why you aren't about to make as much money as they would have liked, because too much happened beforehand. And if you had said, and I quote, "Don't worry about it, man. I can promise you that in like a month, they would have returned that kindness in spades," because that's how this works, right?
I just didn't fundamentally understand that.
But
Like, to me,
this is the sort of understanding that will get you canceled. Like, I don't know how to be more blunt about this. Or if not canceled, you will lose a lot of the people in your community that want to support you. Because it also happened while we were on stream together during the Project Stim announcement, right? Someone came into chat. This is an entirely different problem, putting a lot of emphasis on your throne thing for Offkai, which is like, okay, right? But someone said they couldn't give money because they already gave a bunch to their rat queen. Now their rat queen, is Alicia. Alicia, who's supposed to be your friend, who has done tons for you. They're just saying they gave a lot of money to her, right? And you could be like, maybe it's not appropriate for you to say this in chat, right? But all they were doing was generally providing a context where they want to give you money, but they can't, and here's why.
Hi. Yeah, it was just a full-on assault. So they quite literally lied about this situation. My own mental health has degraded so severely from her abuse. Yes, I can feel how uncomfortable you are just from listening to the audio. And I think everybody just feels so uncomfortable listening to this. I'm sorry you had to go through this. This is not the way to communicate and to tackle challenges, especially with somebody you consider your friend. And I haven't been to a lot of therapy sessions, but I know one of the first things they teach you is the way you're supposed to speak to somebody, to not put them on the defensive. You're supposed to talk about how it made you feel. I feel like they're not utilizing that at all. Maybe they could use some advice. Instead of Googling, some doctor shit and some food poisoning facts that they were so certain about, even though they're not the ones that are dealing with the health issues like Radia is. Radia is the one that's been dealing with these health issues for I don't know, months, years. And then they're like, no, but we know more what you're allowed to eat than you do. What the fuck? This has been going on since 2023, and her deep jealousy caused a lot of issues. I do feel like a lot of it is motivated by jealousy. It's seeping through their voice and their words.
Why should they be doing that? Maybe not. But your response shouldn't be, "I am upset with you. This makes me mad." Because I had to jump on a grenade during that stream.
You also dragged us in with you on
I
that
am not to feel sorry for you. Those were the words you used. It's not going to make me feel sorry for you.
And you put those words onto me and Fen and Palm when you said that by saying, check the
You look back, because we've looked back at it, you can see the expressions on our faces.
Yeah.
And then that made me go into fight or flight, because the problem is we stand by when you're doing that, because that's just such a fucking bad look, right? It makes you look ungrateful. It makes you look mean-spirited, right? And then if we stand by and we don't say anything as you do that, it makes us look like we support that. And then it hurts us as well, because if that's going to hurt you, but then it's also going to hurt us. And I don't want you to be hurting yourself doing stuff like this, which is why we've brought up at least 1 or 2 times that this is not a good thing to be doing.
This is
But to
about
also
you.
include us in this.
First and foremost, they're upset that it's gonna look bad on them. Let's be honest about that. Then they're trying to convince her by saying, oh, but it also looks bad on you, but they don't give a shit. It doesn't look like they give a shit about that.
It's like a mass damage, right?
No, I understand. I
She
do.
sounds
Like,
so
I'm not.
dejected.
Yeah, and it was, there's
Oh, my monetary concerns were always founded in medical cost. American medical care is like giving up a used car each year and anxieties were private, but I consistently was berated privately. Oh, see, this is a confirmation of what I was, that was my supposition too. Because they seem upset at you for making more money, but I was like, Radia clearly has way more expenses because of all the medical stuff. And you live in America too, that stuff is expensive. Yes, they are all being horrible to Radia, but Radia should have grown his spine and told them to pound sand after stuff like that. Well, in the first, like, I don't know what she was going through exactly in her mind because I'm not in her head, but in the first document that we read, the 98-page doc, Digi said that she felt so overwhelmed that she kind of shut down and she couldn't defend herself. And it was only after, I think, weeks after when she finally, came out of her stupor that she started pushing back on some of the stuff, but it's not going to be in a call. I spent about $15,000 out of pocket a year. Adora was very upset, but I work a full-time job in this. Jesus. I was afraid of her again. I was afraid she was going to dox my home address with images of my home. That is terrifying. Yes, I mean, Radia might as well been playing mid lane in League of Legends because, when you get like turret dive by like the top lane, the support, and the enemy jungler, that's exactly what I feel is happening right now.
messages in the I watched this. Adora was the one that handled it, where you talked about how it doesn't, if you don't make, if you're only making $50 a stream, then it's not worth it.
Why did she have pics of her house she
making
visited?
$50. To some people, that money,
Adora visited Radia's house multiple times. I keep confusing the 2 girls in the call, Fen and Palm, but I know Radia made up with one of them. Fen, yeah. See, I'm happy to continue my friendship with Fen, and will leave all other statements on her experience solely to her, but her remorse was important for me to acknowledge on a mass public level. Thank you for your time and consideration. Adora went AWOL for her own issues and problems, according to her statement, which is when Fen stepped away to speak with me weeks ago. I could have read this thread in order. Now that the intervention call has been published, if you can call recorded end stage abuse that, I have something I must touch on. I want to publicly state here that I have stated time and time again via DMs and stream covering this and now on my own stream. Fenari Mori was the only individual involved to offer me an apology weeks ago and acknowledge something was deeply wrong with what transpired in the call and subsequently afterwards. To this day, she has been the only individual involved to offer me an apology and acknowledgement regarding the heinous nature of Adora's actions. So Palm did not apologize. That confirms it. She used anything out of content, showed me my own DMs to berate me. It is a long, long history of abuse. I'm sorry, Radia, that sounds terrible, and you're probably better off now just cutting that relationship.
they're giving you is all they have for fun stuff, and they're choosing to give it to you because they like you and they want to support you. But if they ever heard anything like this, that it wasn't enough, right?
Radia, that's
they're gonna stick around.
Do you remember the meme of the streamer who said it's only $5? That's what that sounds like. Right then and there. You cannot do that. That's not gratitude. It's not. It's just not.
You got to remember, I don't know what your financial situation is, right?
It's more. It's not.
But-
It's
Adora's voice and tone really irks me the wrong way. I cut the rope and I'm breathing now. This degraded my own mental health, relationships, and behavior over 2+ years to a point of deep, deep hurt. When did you completely cut ties with Adora? How long have you been Adora free?
it's been a mental thing because my
Right.
inherent, and it's really hard to decouple, and it's something I am working on a lot. But my inherent value has been tied to how much I bring or give or make for people.
Oh, she's crying.
And it comes off that way. It is coming off that way.
Yeah, I don't mean for it to, but like my self-worth and my I guess usefulness as a person gets tied to numbers. It's
Radia.
so
A lot of content creators feel that way. I liked, dude, she is opening up. She's talking for the first time in the call, and they're just cutting her off. They're so this is so frustrating to listen to.
I don't.
You have a full-time job along with Twitch.
Yeah.
I know it's hard.
She placed a lot of worth on me being the biggest member on what I generated for others. Like in terms of popularity, money, clout, or in your actions, like what you brought to them as a friend. I am slowly but surely Godspeed to anyone going through this hell. For sure. I mean, hey, at least you're seeing the situation with some clarity now.
To see it that way, but you shouldn't tie your self-worth to only what you make on Twitch. You are a homeowner in Seattle with a full-time job.
Aw.
And a tenant. You have a tenant as well. Like, you're doing really well. Things are going well in that regard. And
If you want to tie value to
They're like, you're doing well, you're doing better than us. How dare you complaining? They don't understand that everything's relative. Like, yeah, somebody that has like 20k subscribers will look at somebody with 100k subscribers and be like, this person can't complain, they have 100k subscribers. The guy that has 100k subscribers, he wants to get to 1 million, so it's relative. You always want more. No CCV value, what I could do fiscally. Again, her emphasis on remembering the old me was giving her money. Yeah, well, you know what? I believe it from listening to the call. Also, Nim was not my tenant. I was housing a chronically ill youth so they could go to college. Oh, that's the one that you were kind of supporting financially? That unfortunately had to move out because you were like too destroyed and you lost out on like a 10k. Was it a loan for college? I don't really remember.
tie that value to how expensive your house is. Tie that value to how much you make through your full-time job. Tie that value.
No, it's like Emily is saying, it's like someone is telling somebody they can't complain because there are kids starving in Africa. Yeah, they lost their own college funding actually due to Adora causing so much strain they failed their finals. That's so sad.
The numbers that none of us in this call could ever dream of having. I live in a house that is technically, there are rooms that are falling apart. I live in the back rooms because I can't afford a house.
Yeah.
Boo.
Like, you have to understand where this money is coming from, right? And why it's also, on top of that, even more harmful when certain situations are emphasized when it's not the case. Some people will give money when they don't have that money, if they think you're in a bad situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me, I'm struggling more than you. When you go on academic suspension, you lose that scholarship and I could not cover the gap on my own for their education. Damn. Well, I mean, you already housed them and stuff. That's already a lot. You did all you could. I don't think you should feel bad for that. It's just the circumstance really do suck. But you went above and beyond for them.
I think we can tie this back to a previous thing that happened with me, right, Palm? Like, that we talked about in the past. When Kono had been trying to tell me to ham up my living situation, and Palm approached me about it and told me
I reamed you out about it.
Yep.
I reamed you out about it.
Yep.
I got really upset because it was in December, right?
Yep.
It was in December and people were giving a lot of money in December.
Yep.
And you came to me and you were talking about how it doesn't hurt. It's so great that, I just made all this money and it doesn't hurt anyone. And then I'm like, okay, but you do realize, and we all know this, when we have a mutual community member that gives a lot of money, if they give a lot of money towards one person, it's likely, it's not always the case, but it's likely they're going to give less all the way around. And
We managed to take quick action and things are okay right now. They will return to my home for their even higher education. My home is always theirs. Oh, that's so sweet. You're so generous. You know where I stopped the call? I didn't really like where this line of argument was going. Yeah, because it looks like she's going to keep pressing.
that's fine. If it's based on truth, if it's predicated on lies, then I get upset. And the lie here, or the kind of emphasis on something that wasn't entirely true, was Adora saying she was on food stamps, right?
I am
Because she
on
was
food
on food
stamps.
stamps.
Didn't
She
have
was
to
on
be.
food stamps,
Didn't have
but
to
that
be.
was her choice.
I chose to
right?
be. I didn't go and get a job. I could have tried to, at least if I was at least looking for a job, then it'd be different, right? But I wasn't looking for a full-time job at the time, right? Like,
Yeah,
good streaming.
I just thought like that was part of, I didn't really think about that much either. Like I just thought
Like-
that was part your state benefits.
Yeah,
that-
Radio's an emotional
because of your
punching bag
income.
right now.
When
You know, I
when
think-
someone says I'm on food stamps, it makes people assume a certain living situation that is
Yeah.
dire. So they
I
will
have a
give
mortgage.
more money,
Yeah.
right?
I have a mortgage.
I am incredibly happy when my friends make tons of money, right? I am very happy, but I am not happy when it's based off of lies because then I feel like people are getting taken advantage of,
No, I understand. I
right?
understand.
Yeah. And it's
like-
also something that will come back to bite you in one way or another.
Yeah, I'll go talk about the food poisoning in my Discord because I did think that's what I had. But obviously, if I'm feeling fine by noon, 1 p.m., it was probably just a not great reaction with my stomach.
I'm starting to get frustrated listening to this. I also have returned to them all the money I saved for them for the future, which was over $9,000 as the deal was I would save money for their future and turn over when they graduated so they would have a head start in life. There's a final check this week. Wow. Wait, what the fuck? You're doing so much for them. Yeah, they are. Danke, just doing what I think is the right thing. Is that German, Danke? Does it mean thanks? I feel like I heard that word before. Yep. Ah, yes,
Not-
I got it right.
Not anything, that was like that. But that's just if I get sick from food like that, it's been food poisoning.
They're probably upset because they didn't get the 9K.
But that's I just assumed. I really did assume. But that's not correct of me to do so. And I should have handled that with more tact, obviously. And that's on me. And it's also my fault for not really managing my mental space because that adversely affects all of you and leaches out in really spiteful ways that aren't meant to be directed at anyone. It's meant to be directed at myself. But obviously it's not. That's not how it goes. It affects other people in turn.
Radia,
Well, yeah, it's
this is an unhealthy relationship you have with money and streaming right now in your self-worth. That is not conducive to you. It's not healthy for you to
Right.
have this connection.
I know. And I'm really actively decoupling.
but you haven't really given yourself the time to do so.
I'm trying.
To take a break.
Yeah, I have therapy every week that I'm
We're not talking about that. We're talking about a break. Like a proper break. And I want you to know this is not if I didn't give a shit about you, I would disappear and you
Yeah.
would never hear from me again. This is me trying to hope that you can mend this you have a toxic relationship with streaming.
They
It's
have a
not
toxic
good,
relationship with
right?
her.
And it's only been getting worse. And I think you know that as well, right? It's in part because of the job you have, but it's also streaming. You can't just take streaming out of this equation. I really do think you need to take a break from streaming.
Yeah, I don't have anything concrete planned until Sunday. So
It's at the point where us as a group, I do not think we can continue as a group if you do not take a break, right? Because I don't see this
What?
getting better. I do not want to see you in a situation where your toxic mindset drags you down to the point
Dude, what is this Nijisanji forced suspension 101?
where everything explodes.
Yeah, why are they acting
Right.
like an agency?
I think we're at a critical point. I really, really do.
So from 2023 to 2025, but it got worse in 2025, Radia?
You've been dealing with burnout. We know this. We've talked about this before, right? We've talked about this before. But there's all this other just unhealthy shit.
Yeah, they're like a self-appointed black company, true. Because Adora felt like she owned me. That is the vibe we're getting. It does feel like she's controlling, she's infantilizing you in a way. It's such an odd dynamic.
That is just going on that hurts you and it hurts others. It's hurting everyone, right?
it is. It's not healthy for anybody. It's not healthy
No.
for me. I'm
No.
not enjoying it. I don't like feeling that way. I don't.
You do that a lot? Oh my god, that must have been so rough. The micromanaging is insane.
Like feeling like I forget basic tasks because I'm exhausted
And-
or stressed.
And if you know this, you need to take a break.
I really want her to take
And
a
you
break.
know you need to take a break. You need to take a break.
It's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing.
not
It's
embarrassing.
not.
I hate to say this right now, and I am going to have to say this because I called my mother last night, Radia, and I know I've talked to you about this in the past. But my father was a pathological liar
What?
throughout my life, and because of these pathological lies, would say these small white lies over time, even if it was for a noble purpose. And when I described the situation to my mother in this portion, she said it sounds like my father.
What?
And I fucking broke down crying, thinking about it like that, because it's hard. And but here's the thing too. It may have come up like that in this situation, but my father and mother did mend. I have mended my relationship with my dad after he did that, after he went to jail and then went to prison almost. Instead, he got put on probation essentially because
For pathological lying?
he had to pay back the money. And it's
No, surely not.
these small white lies.
There's got to
the
be something
lies
else.
of absentia, the lies of forgetting, the thoughts of just, oh, I submitted a form. You clearly didn't click the button if you submitted a Google form. We know that. Don't lie to it. Just say you didn't do it. It's not a big deal if you do that.
I did. He ended up finding me. Like I did submit that. He's like, you put yourself under registration. That's why I couldn't find you. And I was like,
Okay.
I see. And you can go ask Michael because he was like, oh, you put yourself for registration. I was like, okay, because I thought that's what we were going to volunteer with. Staff at the con was going to be registration help. So I put myself as registration.
Okay.
And that's why he couldn't initially find me.
I think that's fine.
That's fine.
Fine.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
fine.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Thank you. That makes me feel better.
Cool.
Thank you. Awesome.
Okay, they
that's
believe
why-
that at least.
That's why he had to go into the other room to get me a badge, and that's why my badge said
Yep.
initially registration. He had to like write on there in pen on the staff badge, like my info. Yeah.
I think, again, just kind of, I think you recognize that it hasn't been good in more ways than one. We've been noticing it as well. It has led to situations that should not be happening, right? Just in general. And I don't think you want it, like, this is us kind of giving you the push that we think that you need.
Oh, shut up.
Because
Wait, they're still pretending this is because we care? We're doing this for you and it's because we care? This was constant. If she didn't get to know my entire life, she'd get upset. But it feels like she's using everything, every detail that you're telling her against you. Thanks for the push to leave forever. I mean, yeah.
I understand that you think it's embarrassing to take a step back, but we're telling you that you need it. And we're telling you you need to do it. We might not be giving you a choice here, right? If that makes you feel better in taking that break, fucking good, because you need it.
You
right?
can't force...
It's not just your...
You can't force somebody to take a break. You can't. She is and does that. You don't get to actually fight her. You can't tell somebody else that, yeah, you're not going to work for a month, by the way. You need to take a break. I'd be like, no, fuck you. I'm going to leave the group then. Why didn't they just kick her out of the group then? If that was such an issue.
Your mental health, it's your content is suffering as well, right? You haven't had time to work on anything, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, because they needed to leech from
I've
her.
heard multiple times for you that you're not satisfied in the things that you're doing on stream because you haven't been able to work on them because there's so much going on and you're fucking overwhelmed. You've been going and going without really like taking a chance to stop at any point, and it's leading to toxicity all the way around, and it's making your content suffer. And I truly believe if you do take a break in any capacity, right, and come back, it will be better after that point, right? It
Honestly,
will reframe things.
It looks like it, Radia. She needed to make it look like she tried to fix me, but she never had any intention on keeping me unless I put the boot in my mouth. Very controlling.
Because that's what this sort of thing is supposed to do.
Very controlling.
You know?
Yeah.
We're worried about you, okay? We're worried about this group right now because of these things. When you have failings, it's okay to be honest about them because then we can work with that. It's what we did when I didn't get the trailer done. We've made it work and I took my responsibility and I paid for the trailer to be finished. Went for Sungwon's like rush to do that, and Palm pulled the strings to get that like editor, right? Like we can work with these things. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. We're your friends and we have tied our wagons together by making Project STEM together. And at the end of the day, we want what's best for all of us. We always want what's best for ourselves. We want it best for all of us because we're friends. You're my best friend. I don't like the idea of having to question everything you do when I don't see an answer to it. That's a horrible feeling.
Best friend.
I don't want that feeling in my life. I don't want to feel that about my best friend.
Jesus.
It made us feel like we can't trust what you say whenever you would act a certain way. And that's why we also are asking for clarification on a lot of this.
Yeah, true.
Because
we're good people. That's why we gotta remind you. Something I was heavily convinced and pushed by Adora to join and start. A group was not my idea. Oh. Did I miss it? It's almost like they... I couldn't even express displeasure at the hell this cost my family, not even me. No, because they would have been at your throat. Because they're doing this for you, right?
we have been feeling deceived in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that's why we're asking for clarification. Not because we want to call you out or target you. It's specifically because we don't know what to believe anymore.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I hope
Tony.
the like hotel and badge situation
You are my best friend, said Judas.
clarifies that.
Well, that's just one thing. That's relatively minor. Honestly, I didn't care about that.
Yeah, no.
But it's like,
I didn't mean to keep that like stream a secret. I didn't really think about it. It was not on my mind, and I'm sorry if it seemed that way.
It's not even the stream that is the secret part to it either.
And
It's the saying of food poisoning and then saying nothing to us
Yeah.
about it when we have people worried about you coming to us later.
and
And now we feel awful because we don't know what's happening. We would
Seems-
take you to the
and I'm-
hospital. Palm
Seems like they're more upset about the people coming to them being worried.
knows the Canadian healthcare system. We could take care of you. We could help you. We would do whatever we can for you then. Because you're our friend.
I know. And I'm sorry. I didn't think that like alerting people.
Yeah,
alerting
they
you all
don't
that I was like,
stay-
you know,
I don't think they feel bad.
having a time in the restroom.
you don't have to. I understand if you, as someone
Like,
who has some chronic health issues on my
I
own
don't
end.
be like, hey, I'm like explosively shitting.
Well, I understand that,
you
but
know.
like, if
Did she say I'm explosively shitting? Or did I misheard that?
if I made a big deal about every time I explosively shit on stream to garner points,
That's a funny
I
vocabulary.
could do that a lot,
I
right?
did.
But I don't want to freak out my fucking chat. And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I'm just shitting. I know I'm just shitting. As long as I'm not like massively fucking vomiting with a fever, then I'm like, okay, we're Gucci.
And
Right, I might have to miss a stream and whatever. But it was like it came across as if something was being hammed up. That was a health situation. You can ham up and other things. Veggie does it all the time, right? But health stuff, like the really stuff that matters, like health stuff, you worry people. And like I literally, you can go through like the chat logs and you'll see that people were literally donating money because you were sick, right?
Yeah, I didn't. That was not my objective, and it was not something I noticed that it was even.
It's this thing where you just, it's something you cannot do.
And I just need to be conscious of it. It's
Right,
not something that
conscious.
needs to be talked about. Yeah, it's not something that needs to be talked about. I just
Well, like people thought you were really like the entire night.
Radia. I'm glad you can laugh about it.
Not that you went to hang out in the jacuzzi, came
Yeah, I
back, had your moment, and then went to sleep, woke up, and then went to the aquarium, ate all the food in the world. You know what I mean? Like if the people, like again, it's gonna make
Dude, they're really angry at that breakfast sandwich you ate that morning.
people look at you like, excuse me, but you told us this, right?
Yeah.
The image of I am on the bathroom floor with food poisoning is a very specific image where it makes people distressed, right?
And I didn't think of that. I'm sorry. I didn't really contemplate that image or what that means to other people.
You did?
And that comes back to the lack of gratitude and
You
foresight.
only egg inside.
This can be better. This can be better. This isn't the end, but we need help.
Aw, you just wanted the egg.
And you need a break. You need to take care of yourself. You need to
Is she in a conservatorship? They're like, you need help. No, I'm fine. No. Listen to me. I can tell you're not fine. So you're going to stop working and you're just going to listen to us. Trust me, you need help.
You need to use that paid vacation that you have. You need to do it. You need to take time off for yourself. You need to refocus. You need to recenter. And you need to detach this
I can eat a
unhealthy
bit of
connection you
gluten.
have
Okay.
before it takes everything away from you.
There is one more thing that we do, like it needs to be brought up, and it's because of the off-kai thing, right? We had our announcement stream together. It was a really big moment for all of us, right? But a huge amount of that stream was dedicated to you bringing up your throne. I don't think that was appropriate. I want you to go to off-kai. I don't know if $2,000 is an appropriate amount of money to be. None of us asked for that much money, right? You can ask for whatever you want.
I don't have celiac. Gluten just causes inflammation in my gut, which isn't helpful. Okay. No, it's not, Kid Loco.
When it wasn't supposed to be about that. And then in your Discord, you did do a thing where
My dog is
you were
struggling.
very specifically like, I made a throne fund in hopes of attending as the full Project STEM group. We aren't attending as the Project STEM group. We're just attending as ourselves. It's misleading, right?
I see.
It's in a position because, like, again, if you're on stream and you're talking about this, what I'm going to say, don't donate to, I'm not going to do that, right?
Well, yeah, no, but,
I'm
like-
stuck. I want you to come, but I also, again, it's making a moment that really shouldn't be about money, right?
Yeah,
And again, I think that circles back to the unhealthy association between streaming and making money. Like having
I'm
those
just-
two
I'm not-
things being deeply interlinked when they shouldn't be all the time.
I'm not thinking about it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I think they're just getting offended on behalf of your audience. Like Radia's audience is consenting, Radia's consenting. It's that meme. I consent, and then Adora and her friends, I don't consent. They spin everything as something evil.
Yeah. Like the
'Cause
problem
I'm
is
not thinking about it.
like it's not like, yes, three of us here make a living off of this and you make a significant amount of money, which I'm sure helps you out a ton. It is to some degree about money, but it's not all about money.
No.
Because in situations
fine.
like that, it feels like we're being used, you know? We're happy to help out, but like when we don't, it's like a surprise, you know? It's like, oh, wait, what? And I thought, well, maybe, okay, so
Yeah, it's
fine,
all
she
about
put
money.
$600, $700 there so she can come to Offkai, cool, whatever, right? But then I saw the amount of money it was, and I'm like, because you said you reached like 21%. I'm like, that's kind of surprisingly low because I know how generous your
Yeah.
community can be. And I'm like, oh, and then I saw how much money that actually was because the total value was so high, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
oh,
That's just again.
you are allowed to ask as much as you want from your community. Right. But it's the way that you frame it that matters. I don't give a shit what you ask your community for, as long as it's up front, because that's quite frankly up to them whether or not they want to give money. They're adults, right?
Yeah.
They're totally adults. But if it's framed as, oh, we want to attend as a group and that's why, or, you know, whatever, when the truth of the situation is the only reason you're even considering paying that much is because you're paying for a suite, maybe, and also you didn't start planning this when everyone else did.
Yeah.
Right? That's why that's the case. It's
Yeah.
a little, it's like, it's misleading and like, right? And then we're roped in on that without knowing, right? Like, I don't
It's
know,
not
man.
my targeted intention to do that, but I understand the issues that it's causing,
Mm.
like fundamentally.
Yeah.
The lack of like ruminating on any of those decisions is causing a problem.
It was just like, it was like this reoccurring theme about the quote unquote drama about the Offkai hotel room. And it's like, why does it have to be about this again? Right?
Yeah.
This is like the happy moment.
Yeah.
And then it led to a conflict between you and the chatter that I had to jump on the grenade for, right? When that didn't even potentially have to happen in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I truly gave a shit about who was making the money or whatever, there would have been like, oh, I want this to be on my channel or whatever. I didn't give a shit. Let it be on your channel, right? Cool.
Yeah.
People give money. Like, that's great. Fantastic. Like, we're having a great time. But then it was like, once you push it past a certain point, it's like, oh, wait. Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's the last point that I really wanted to bring up.
Yeah. Just a combination of really poor, like,
This is kind of just
Television.
reinforcing my
It's a-
belief that VTuber groups are all cursed
not.
and riddled with
Toxic
drama.
in my mind, in my viewpoint, it's a toxic association that has been
it's
formed
bad,
between you and
Why is it that VTuber groups always implode? Always implode.
streaming and what streaming is about. Because I don't think any of us started streaming because we wanted to do it because it was fun.
Yeah. And I have fun
Right.
doing it. The problem is that
But you have less fun when you
Make less
don't
money.
perform, when you make less money, or your money, like your numbers, like I'm imposing this on you because I understand that feeling of like when your numbers are lower and you're not making as much money, right?
yeah.
It's like you take it personally when you shouldn't. You never should, especially right now, right?
I mean, it
This-
shouldn't be tied to like my self-worth. I need like a
No.
divestment from that. But it's
Yes.
yeah.
You are an entertaining, successful creator. You don't need to panic in these situations. You don't need to tie your value to what you make at the end of the day. You have achieved more than most can only dream of.
Because Adora emphasized my own numbers all the time, Radia says. This is why I feel like it's all about money.
And
That's
if
a
you
real
lose that
reason.
gratitude, you will lose it all.
And we can't stand by you.
And
Yeah.
we cannot stand by you. I'm just saying the same thing, so it's not just Palm saying it.
No, I understand. Like,
Hold on.
Oh,
Audio.
it's looping.
Yep.
Oh no, it's done. Or it's
Oh, hold on.
is that it?
Or can be a good person and do good things. I've
Oh,
seen the
no.
good things you have done.
Not the
Please
shit.
take a break and break this toxic, unhealthy relationship with it. It's for your own sake.
Yeah, break
Oh,
the toxic relationship with Adora. She's so close to self-awareness, but not quite.
Takes 12, but also your sake, because you will lose everything if this doesn't change. unfortunately.
You will lose everything if it doesn't change. Wow.
Yeah. If there's other things you need to address,
Or
just
fatal
send me like
words.
I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But yeah, I'll
Go process, fam.
Go process,
Yep.
fam. You just like seriously. Okay.
I'm fine. Just gonna go
Go take care of yourself, friend. Okay. Or rest.
yeah, I'll be fine. I've got to get Adora to haul my ass to the airport.
I do have to go do that. So
I'm not gonna be at. I'm just not up.
I could be what for?
I'm not gonna be at D&D tomorrow. I'm not up for
That's
it.
completely fine. You shouldn't. We said to step away from streaming. That is fine. To say you need to take a break, that will all understand. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about our Saturday stream. I can make it. I can figure out a way to fill it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be around Sunday because I don't want to cancel that. But yeah, I'll be fine.
Also, before I depart, Adora will bring up my LinkedIn. I keep that incredibly scant. If she wanted to know all of my universities and even see every degree other than the ones on the wall, then she could have asked or been my employer. True.
Gonna go take a few days to just.
Start to process, please, and we'll take it from there. You can take it from there. Okay.
Yeah, they did Inception on her. They're like, you're gonna take a break. You're gonna take a break. Now they're pretending it's her idea. Okay.
I do need to go run and take Fen though.
Yeah, no. You guys get.
Yeah.
I swear, if I get stuck at TSA, I'm gonna throw shit.
No, yeah.
Also, no, you should be fine. Shit in hand and throw it at TSA. Become monkey.
I will not attend any
Honestly, they're pretty
institution.
chill.
Shouldn't
It's also
this
not
doc-
Monday, so you should.
I will likely not attend any institution. She mentioned this dog due to personal safety reasons. I haven't gotten to the institutions yet. Did she suggest some institutions for you to attend in the dog? That's crazy. Oi, you. Yeah, you. Hi. If you're not subscribed to my second channel, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So take a moment, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell on. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now let's get back into the video. All right, let's continue on reading the doc now. Many of the issues in the issues document can be heard here, as well as stated by people besides me, because in the end we were worried about our friend's behavior. This call is incredibly personal, but unfortunately with the narrative Radia has presented on the call and made public, I want the world to hear what actually happened. I guess this is why she included the audio, but it's not... I don't think it's gonna look the way she wanted it to look. I'm lucky I have other options for continuing some things I left in status. I'm glad you have other options to fall back on, Radia. Yeah, this has been crazy so far, and this has just been the audio. I did not expect it to be that bad. I heard that people were like, oh, it's bad, but I didn't think I'd have such a reaction to it. Once again, I was not even the person to initially suggest her to take a break. Wait, was she not? In fact, Fenari was the... Okay, but you or Fenari, you were all in accord. In fact, Fenari was the one in the intervention to bring it up, as I can be heard in this call starting at 49:44. It's weird that she's making a point to distance herself from being the one who initially suggested the break. She seemed very happy to know that that Radia wasn't going to the D&D session the next day, let me tell you that. She included a screenshot of things regarding MIT into just the general school itself, which would have led to me pursuing PhD options. That's not for her to decide. Imagine if I start sending people a list of college they have to go apply to. She's throwing other people under the bus. She led the convoy she won. Exactly. Myself and Poff both agree as well. However, during this call, we speak on every issue I have spoken about prior in this document. We're incredibly hurt during this call and worried for a friend not telling us everything. We would have never suggested a break if she told us she couldn't afford to take one. In this call, she claims it was not about finances, but embarrassment to take a break. If she needed the income from streaming, we would have either offered alternatives such as Throne Goal or told her it's fine to keep streaming. I've been living paycheck to paycheck. Why would I want my best friend to financially suffer? As well, we unfortunately had to deal with small lies, as well as such as her claiming she had reached out to other creators for meet and greets. Names unfortunately cannot be censored here due to needing them to be able to reference them in the recording of the video. Radia had claimed she had reached out to Juniper, but in the call then stated she forgot to hit send on the first message ever. She even stated before this call that she would poke again, but then proceeded to never do so. Every claim she had made without any physical evidence is either false or fabricated from limited screenshots. I'm going to show the screenshots that matter, which are related to my allegations of doxing, as well as the entire conversation I have had with Radia since she redacted important information informing her narrative. As well, I was not the leader or 1 pushing this. This was equal hurt between myself, Palm, and Fen. At 101, we spoke about the situation and Radia misleading on my Palm and Fen's behalf that we were trying to attend Offguy as Project Stim. Now, as the matter of the DMs claiming I was bullying her or manipulating her, abusing her, here's the entire unaltered, fully transparent DMs between myself and Radia since she decided to remove several DMs from our conversation in her document. Often in an attempt to make me look worse. At this time, Pomato and Fenari were dealing with con crud, and so I was the only one who could even talk to her and try to help her while they couldn't. Here's everything said between us from beginning to end of this portion. I sincerely believe I was helping my friend. I am not holding any line back because in the end, I think picking and choosing is wrong when making a case against a person. Please listen to the intervention, however, before reading these DMs if you can. Oh, don't worry, we did, and we wish we didn't. I hope travels home were safe. Adora responds, home safe, and I take Fen to the airport tonight. Hope you rested well. Radia responds, glad the trip home was uneventful at the border. I got a lot of rest yesterday. I slept like 11 hours last night. Also, Sunday is Meat's debut, so I'm just checking with him on length of stream to try and help support with our rates. Adora says, hey, we need to have an emergency STIM meeting right now. Can you jump in working in STIM? And she says, sure. We saw that exact same screenshot in the last document. I'm not sure what's the point of putting this again here. The portion she cut out was me speaking about my past relationship with my father. My father and I are on great terms now, as well as I have this full permission to post this. Radia is also talking about the STIM Discord server at this time, not leaving STIM the group. I will say, I do not think June 1st is a long enough break. This is generally a make or break situation in our friendship. We've seen the screenshot too. And I do generally love you, but I'm hurt and don't feel like I can fully trust you anymore, and that needs to be rebuilt. And I want to rebuild it with you so badly because of all the good time we've had together. You need to recenter and change your approach and connection with streaming, yada yada yada. Before I get to everything here, I just want to let you know I didn't leave Stim because I was upset. I just felt I shouldn't be present in the space. Adora says I didn't even notice, and that's fine for now. Radia says for the time being, I just felt it was better. So she just left the Stim Discord. Adora says, yeah, no, that is a-okay. You should honestly not be going on Twitch. Spending time with IRL friends, take time off of work, and just enjoy life and recenter. I know I shouldn't. I've been overworking myself and running from a pile of stress for months. I haven't gotten probably proper sleep in months aside from rare days like Monday, and while the intention isn't to fail or purposefully do harm, most of what I do as of late tends to fall in that camp. I love you too, and I've not been doing amazing since Redacted died, honestly. There was a lot of decades-long purpose and fear gained afterward. Well, I can't take the entire month off work. That just isn't feasible, regardless of how much OT I have, unless I do disability leave, which I reserve for yearly surgeries. My overall schedule is light. I'm going to keep what I have scheduled because at least it's scheduled social time that breaks up my week, but I'm not going to be overbooking myself or present 5+ days a week on stream, my own or others, for a long time. Radia's brother name is censored here just in case, since I forgot if it was a public information or not. Damn, that's terrible, losing a brother. Oof. My condolences. You really need to detach from streaming, Radia. And this out of place of love. And I say this out of place of love and concern. I'll give you more time to process, but I'm going to be firm on this. I don't trust you right now. I don't feel comfortable having you on my stream, doing content with you. And you are my friend, and I love you for you. I want the good I see in you to be part that's there, but it's hard when I keep feeling lied to. Please stop lying to me, and please recenter, meditate, and refocus. You need it. Burnout is the real killer. I understand. Things can improve, but it needs a genuine refocus and start here. You and everyone else in under no obligation to be around me right now, nor will I make an effort to inject myself for the time being. And if you come back quickly, it is over because it means you didn't learn what's wrong here. This is our make or break moment, and I hate saying that, but I never lied to you. Once. Wait, we read that screenshot before because the once, I remember laughing at the once there. Like, I never lied to you. Okay, I lied once, but whatever. The part she removed from my post above was when she had told another party that she was upset that Fenari visited me to give me support after I came forward about my essay in December instead of her. So she's claiming that Radia wished that she was the one supporting her and not Fen. This was told eventually to Fan, and it hurt me greatly because both Radia and I were assaulted by the same man. Oh my goodness, what the fuck? So here Radia says, understood, I'll leave you to your evening and let you prepare for tomorrow. This isn't meant to sound snide, just comes off as blunt, but I do mean to have a decent evening. I won't necessarily be around, I'll be giving you all distance, but I'll be in DMs if needed. This isn't something I feel I even have the fundamental ability to fix at the moment. And then Adora says, of course, this isn't me telling you we won't talk, because that is part of the process. You are my friend. You are someone I view as a sister. And if you weren't, I wouldn't give you the same talk I gave my dad. Radia responds, I appreciate that. Generally, my first instinct was to just walk away from content and everything around it, but I've not deleted everything, so it's a start. My experience in being a functional person is incredibly limited. I don't know what is wanted of my existence, nor how people want me to engage. Adora says, and I hope you can improve. That's all I'd like to speak on this for tonight. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Radia says, understood. And Adora is back on the convincing her that she needs to stop streaming arc. I'm going to say this now. I think you genuinely need a full social cleanse right now and detox. No Discord, not even your community, no Twitter, no Twitch chat, nothing. I feel like she's trying to isolate her. You have an unhealthy tie to it, and the more you interact with it right now, the unhealthy connection you have to streaming will continue, and you let it enable bad behavior. I hope I don't see any messages for a bit, and you communicate with loved ones you plan to do that so you can still hang out with IRL folks. This is generally a serious moment, Ray, and I don't want to lose you as someone I love. Please rest so you can recenter and not tie content to an integral part of your heart. You're more than that. You have my phone number and can text me and others there. We can even have phone calls to check in. I don't have a ton of people IRL. Nim and DG are also rather busy, so I'm currently just plugging away at work since it's all I really have. And that's so sad. Adora says, trade info with folks you care about. It'll ground you, I think. I'll be just texting you from here on out, lol. Radia responds, I'm honestly at the point I find it easier to leave than to watch everything fall apart more. Also, that's my work phone. You don't want the government company looking at texts, lol. My personal is redacted. If I'm unreachable, I've always got my work phone around too. Adora says, fair, just testing. I just want my old friend back that unprompted of nothing gave support and money when I was sick. Not the one worrying about numbers and money from stream. Radia responds, I just don't see a place for me right now in anything, let alone my presence making anything better now or in the future. I don't have faith in my ability to do so anymore. I don't even want people in person near me at the moment because I have no trust in my ability to not make basic human activities go awry. Adora answers, figure I'd remind, but so you can focus on stuff, and just for the sake of our friendship, I don't have you down for any collabs in June and won't be coming on as well until July at the earliest, so don't feel obligated to stream because of me. So if there's anything... Why are we reading the screenshots for? They prove nothing. What is the point she's trying to make here? Like, what is the defense, Adora? Because I feel like I'm just wasting my saliva right now. As for the money comment, I was literally in thousands of dollars of debt at the time and struck with COVID with no way to work and pay bills. I never asked for anything from anyone, and Radia at the time generously gave me money without asking to help me pay for a testing kit, as well as help get treatment, and my Medicaid hadn't started yet. Oh, that's what this means. I just want my old friend back that unprompted me, gave me money when I was sick. Not the one worrying about numbers and money from stream. So you just want a friend back that just gave you money without asking any questions. That's what I mean. To those being angry at me for being kind to her generosity in my moment of need, that's all it was. Fennery also, at the time, without being asked, did the same thing. It's not wrong to be grateful for your friend's kindness. I will mention this later as well. Generosity like this has been rare in my life and was precious to me at a moment when I was incredibly weak. Radia says, I'm just thinking of leaving. I don't have it in me to stay a month in an unplanned isolation as everything slowly degrades. I'm not allowed to be around even in any capacity, whether it be for comfort or socialization. This isn't even about streaming. I'm just not supposed to be around. I don't really have it in me. I don't believe that I'm even wanted around regardless of any state I'm in. Adora says, not going to argue or discuss with you on this. It's your journey and I know you got people close who want to help. Regardless, love you genuinely. Just know I don't want you gone. I want you better. And Radia says, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like I should be gone. I don't have as many people around you think I do that are able to help in any capacity, and I'm not putting it onto one person to help me. If I wanted you gone, I wouldn't be still messaging you. I like that here she's like, being depressed. And she's like, yeah, like, I don't know, this first break, it's just gonna make all my numbers go down. Like, everything will slowly degrade. So I just leave. I feel like nobody wants me around. And Adora's like, I'm not going to argue with this. Not gonna argue with this. You have a point there, Radia. It's crazy. And she's like, go talk to somebody else about this. But hey, I really love you. Okay. It sure doesn't look like it. Radia's like, there's no timeline. I don't feel I'm allowed to do anything at this point, regardless of where I sit mentally. It just looks as if I'm supposed to go into isolation for a month and blow up foundational parts of my life. Adora. There's more to life than content, Ray. There's never a timeline on healing either. I still want you in my life. I just want to be able to trust you again. Things will be hard, but it can get better. Radia, I know that. I'm not ignorant of that, but on foundational level, it does still support this household and people in my life now. I'm trying to mitigate additional suffering while healing. Adora's like, just know, I believe you. I believe in you. He says, I don't know what to believe in. I'm certainly not a good person. I've never been under the impression that I am in any way a particularly good person. Adora responds, nobody's a good person. We're all people. A big thing for me was realizing I need to be a person who does good things. These screenshots were all in the first Google Doc. I'm not sure what's the point. Oh my god, there's so many. What's the point Adora's trying to make here? She is really not good at this whole Google Doc thing. Okay, they have like a discussion about being a good person. Radia says, I didn't think that was a good thing. I just felt normal to do. Even things supposedly good by definition, I get hurt or punished for at times. I haven't ever felt I've done good, so to speak. I've just done what I should. Fundamentally, I just don't understand people. I don't think I ever will. I'm the human equivalent of a feral animal from my upbringing and lack of socialization entirely. It's something that I don't even know is compatible with anyone with decent people, even when I try. I don't make a conscious effort to hurt people, but my deficits do. My existence does. My existence hurts people far more than it causes joy or any other positive changes. Adora responds, I like to believe you are. If no one else believes, then I do. Better to try than not, yeah? Rita says, I keep trying, but I keep getting hurt so much and overwhelmed in a way I can't explain to the point of collapse. I couldn't help my brother or my family. Rationally, the only worth I have is what I can physically give. It's the one thing that makes people consistently happy with me. My existence alone has never been able to do that, so I've had to offer more value in the only way I've ever been able to. My existence isn't something that brings about joy currently. I can't even provide any value right now or perform basic foundational tasks. I don't have any value right now to anyone. And Radia really seems like she's like at an all-time low. Maybe not all-time, but it feels like her mental is very, very low right now. If no one believes, then why must I try so hard? In the end, everyone else is still going to hate me regardless of what I do. I don't want to be around if I'm not wanted, or at least tolerated to go exist. Either way, Adora responds, I'm going to leave you to your thoughts right now since there's nothing productive that can be done, and I sincerely believe therapy and self-reflection will help you more. Just know you are wanted around, and I'm not reiterating myself anymore. Radia responds, I just don't know what any of you want. I haven't done anything but my day job, sleep, schedule therapy, and sit on thoughts because I fear doing anything else. I don't know what is a good enough punishment to atone. How much should I give up to be worthy? It's ambiguous and unattainable in my mind. Adora said it's not about punishment or atoning, it's about getting better. I don't want any more lies and want to be able to trust again. It doesn't mean if you ever get caught in a lie again, our friendship is over. I just wanted you to take accountability when you are, apologize, and then do it less. Dude, she did escape a cult. It's crazy, Gwemin. That call that we listened to was brutal. And she put it so early in the document that it really set the tone for the entire thing. Now we're reading everything with a new lens. But because of her own devices is the most ironic part of this. Radia says, you don't have to answer, obviously, but I'm not supposed to be around for I don't know how long. How am I even supposed to stick to a schedule of days when I'm not even allowed back regardless of if I'm doing anything with you all or not? How do you even want me to prove myself in isolation, really? I don't feel I'm allowed to do anything, for it will mean I'm not sorry enough or trying hard enough if I dare to do anything online. There isn't a way to prove anything is improving if I'm not supposed to exist in any capacity around the space. It's not as if you all exist around me physically. I'm tired, and I've had to take a lot within a short period of a few months. It's not been managed the best, obviously, and it's resulted in constantly feeling illogical emotions or the omnipresent fear of losing everything I ever worked for. I don't have it in me to live like I used to, where everything was uncertain, even food. All I've done is work so I could one day not fear and maybe rest. It is a deep fear when I'm this overwhelmed. Adora says, I'll talk more tomorrow, maintaining my boundary with the last message. The next exchange starts with, hope the aquarium was nice with Nim. Radia says, we're heading out now. Have fun. Hopefully I have enough Polaroid film on me. Been keeping up with Nim, but you already knew that. Happy to hear you're doing better and glad Nim's been better at getting stuff across to you than DG. I want to take some for, Radia says, I want to take some for them so they can put the pictures on their board. Talking about the Polaroids, I suppose. Okay, they're talking about Polaroids more. Radia replying to the Nim comment. It's been helpful. I'm still kind of just in a place of lack of information. I've just been not present in really any place but my Discord occasionally. Adora says, I'll keep trying to communicate as best as I can, although in reality, it really just comes down to that. It's more the way things have been communicated and where. Adora responds, nah, I get that. In reality, if I could make past Adora do anything, it would be to just deal with your spirals and never try to just let things slide that weren't socially okay rather than let them pile up. I won't be doing that going forward, though. Rita says she appreciates it. I'm not unaware of issues, nor is it something I've not been trying to correct at various stages of a downhill slide the past few months. Adora's like, I believe in you being able to get better anyway. Regardless, have fun with fish. Radia says, I will. It's just been an uncontrolled fear response for the past few months, spurred on by a close series of events I didn't have the capacity to deal with, even with therapy. It was a major part of why I felt alone. I couldn't rely on my partner to be an actual support structure at the moment I needed someone most, and I refused to break my promise to a convention when I wanted to help them accomplish what I promised. I've never been upset at you for getting the help you needed. I was happy you had the support in that time and could heal. That's a good thing, and I never held malice for being there. My only metrics for care were based solely upon the lack of presence from other parties, specifically the person I needed the most when I was suffering. This isn't everything that has been on me, but it's just a part of a greater series of issues and misunderstandings. I appreciate you talking. I just wish there had been sit-down conversation before letting things become a massive barrage that I was surprised with in public. Yes, that's what we were saying. One of the major reasons I was constantly struggling was trying to manage everything I knew was wrong on my own while being hit with more problems. A sit-down conversation with everyone to properly check and discuss behavior would have been more of a corrective method than just mentions of behavior that rubbed people wrong or holding it from my knowledge. Otherwise, like, okay, I get that. Unfortunately, not really an easy way to do it, as well as kind of needed to be said for the sake of healing to happen. I want you to know, at least on our end, we all are cheering you on and are hopeful that it'll be better communication going forward. Radia's like, I'm just incredibly conflicted about doing anything. I don't feel like I'm wanting to be around. Adora says, if that wasn't true, it would have gone completely different. Regardless, time will help heal. Radia says, I gently haven't had any communication beyond what we've had, and that's been around what you've primarily wanted, which was for me to not be present from how things were worded. She's sending them pictures of the stingray and some videos and some otters. And Adora asks her if she's doing okay, and Radia says, I'm hanging in there. Just was up far later than I should have been, so that just bugged me down today. Adora's like, hopefully we can hang out soon and be nice to talk and just vibe. Radia says, I'm around, feel free to just tap me, but that would be nice. The only major thing I need to be absolutely present for is assisting them with summer class selection and solidifying their new degree pathway with them and their counselor. Otherwise, I'm usually able to work around my corporate schedule. Adora said, yeah, no, NIM stuff is important, especially since I know they want to change majors. We'll figure something out. I'll be free anyway after eating dinner tonight. Rita says they spent 2 hours at the counselor office on Friday. Adora's like, oh, 100% remember hating Keem, so I'm glad too. He's clocked out on me. He gets super clingy at times, but he's a cozy buddy to lay down with. Again, I fail to understand what these screenshots are supposed to prove. I feel like You know when you go into a lawsuit and they try to like bug you down by overwhelming you with information and documents? This is what I feel like I'm going through right now. It's I'm just getting tidbits of like regular conversations about author and stuff. Like, come on. And these don't make Adora look good. They're basically just a repeat of what Radia had already shown in her Google Doc. Okay, Radia's like, I'll be more lively tomorrow. She just got caught up with chores. Palm is likely going to need to rest or stream, so I suppose we can speak sometime later this week. Yeah, it's okay though. I just know Palm's been having it pretty rough voice-wise. We can figure out a time though, pretty easy. I do know after Wednesday, my Thursday and Fridays are pretty well open. Her lungs are just shot. But I also want this addressed and not pushed off into a corner until improper decisions are again made to perform a ham-fisted intervention. Adora says, I will say I don't really like the words you're using here in regards to that, especially when it was literally us communicating our feeling towards you as a friend. They're talking about the call right now. It really wasn't that large of a deal, and mostly us coming to you as friends to talk about issues. I don't know why you're blowing this up in terms of ham-fisted intervention when we literally just wanted to tell you what was bothering us. Like, you don't even want to be communicated with as I would any friend I cared about, which, reminder, we did this with Marina back in the day in regards to her botting issues related to herself and Fenzi. I don't really know what you wanted different here. I've talked to you one-on-one before in the past. I was originally just going to talk to you about smaller stuff, but then unfortunately Palm and Fen also wanted to talk as well. When we piece stuff together, in the end, I will say from my end, I'm just tired. I think I put a bit too much of myself into the friendship, and it's not fair of me to expect you to return the same energy given. I generally can't deal with spirals over what in the end is just feeling of wishing for a bit more gratitude towards loved ones as a main one. So her main point is that she wishes Radia felt more gratitude towards her and just worrisome behavior in content stuff because I do genuinely care about you. That's all. At least on my end, we're chill and our friendship is probably on a different place right now. Just no, I don't hate you. I don't even dislike you. And I still care about you. I just need a break. Radia responds, I have every right to express displeasure in how on how I was handled in regards to this and for the lack of consideration for the people who would be left to assist in triaging things. I take responsibility for things done wrong, but there are critical parts of the narrative that are wholly incorrect. I will openly listen to critique, but it is not a discussion in an accusatory 3v1. True! At various points, there could have been cordial discussions to remediate issues at hand or investigate why these things were occurring rather than what was decided upon. I continually felt disregarded, and I do express gratitude, perhaps it is more subtle in nature, but I do express it. I'm not a being void of lack of consideration or gratitude. There is never a point in which I find value in making a spectacle of it. It's why what I offered to Nim from the moment they lived here is incredibly private. Theodora's like, I don't think anything I can say right now is going to be productive because I don't think you understand my issues fully, and that's fine. But I'm going to go back to my earlier point if I'd like a break, please. Radia says, I understand your issues and I've been reflecting on them. It's why I've not approached you for any conversation until Palm asked for my availability. And I do not find that expressing what is mild displeasure at most over how I was confronted is in any way wrong. However, there is a critical disconnect, and this is just a redacted has done everything wrong issue. Supposed to be Radia's real name used here. So like Radia has done everything wrong issue. Whether anyone else wants to acknowledge that is beyond the point. I know I won't mean anything from me because this isn't about listening to me. This is about some sort of perceived atonement. We can have a discussion with everyone available because this won't be resolved otherwise. I tried to have a cordial conversation and you immediately went on the defensive from merely establishing that despite any wrongdoing perceived or otherwise. I have a right to respectfully express my displeasure with seeing the weak of those near me impended without warning. Radia really expresses herself well here. I've even made it so as to not even occupy spaces you're present in to give you space over the past week, much to my own social detriment and health, but any effort I make isn't going to be seen as productive or enough. Adora says, I literally didn't ask you to do that, and I assume it was really clear when you joined Min's server it didn't matter to me there. It was not, no, I stayed nearly mute the entire time for that reason. That was the first place I'd gone since last week. So, yeah, I'm not sure what are these supposed to prove in defense of Adora? Because Radia comes off as way more mature in this exchange. And Adora is just circling. For me, the narrative still hasn't changed since the very first Radia Google document. After reading the entire unedited exchange and after reading the recorded conversation, it's just kind of proving us that what Radia wrote was an accurate description of what happened. So I'm very confused about during these responses. I never wanted Radia to self-isolate from friends. I never asked her to not hang out with her friends. She instead put this on herself. I even state clearly that I told her it didn't matter and that I never told her to do that, which I never did in any previous message. I also told her I was happy to hang out with her on Party Demoness server. In the end, I believe this came down to miscommunication and misunderstanding my words. After this point on 6-3, before the 6-7 messages was sent by Radia, I sent this series of messages to Fennery and Palm, and we joined the call together because of how she was beginning to talk to me in this conversation and we were worried. This clip was then sent to us and we watched it together from a stream the day previous. She begins to talk about us at 3:56.
Streaming. There are so many things in streaming that are incredibly transactional. You can have people that are really good friends. However, there's a lot of times where minor inconveniences can become the end of a friendship. No one wants to take time to actually go through the pain of cultivating a friendship. Or if they do, it is very few people that want to go through the pain of communication, proper communication, mind you, not just, ham-fisted communication after you've let, things boil over. I'm talking about proper communication. Not everyone's willing to do that. And you can work past that. You can, move through those. But there's a lot of people who I think are willing to cut people off far too quickly for incredibly minor human infractions. I don't know. I feel my patience is much higher than most when it comes to that. Actual doll conversations. Boy gee howdy. You think those would be easier to come by? It did kill people's
I like her
manners.
voice.
I mean, you can actually look at research papers like post-COVID. The degradation of people's driving skills is scary, actually. It is mildly terrifying. Road rage, lack of respect for public items and spaces. It's just, I feel like I am watching the fabric of society degrade. I don't mean to sound like an old man in the corner going, oh, the youth these days have no respect. This doesn't just apply to the youth. This is a, everyone thing. The focus on
yeah, she is talking about them, but it's not disrespectful and she didn't mention them, so no one would know. Hearing the words ham-fisted, we immediately knew she was talking about us. She's already made her feelings plain about the call. She didn't like it. She tried to tell Adora about it. She wouldn't hear it. She's repeating it again. Her feelings didn't change. She didn't like the call. This made us worry because in the end, we did just generally care about her and were confused at what was going on when this was a private issue between friends, and why she was speaking about us on stream. In the following recorded conversation, we realized we no longer wanted to work with her if she was going to talk badly about us publicly like this when we said nothing about her publicly during this because she was our friend. She haven't mentioned them, did I? Did she? After this point, myself and Fenari began to question what we knew about our friend. Having gone into business together and having traded our information, we began to question what we knew about her. She's not the one that doxed. We then realized that she had the education background she has claimed to us. We remember multiple times as well she had claimed to be a chemical engineer as well as claimed to Palm and myself that she had 1.5 masters. We no longer trusted her, so we looked her up to check for ourselves since when we created Project STEM, we gave each other all of our personal information. We learned then she did not have a degree in chemical engineering from an updated resume on LinkedIn as of 2025, nor any masters. At this point, we were devastated. Nothing made sense anymore, and we were almost ready to move on from her being in a group. Here, Radia stopped by the stream earlier, and she said that her LinkedIn information was scant. She didn't put all her information on her LinkedIn. After having been friends with Radia for almost 3 years, it began to put everything in question. I didn't like myself during this time and entered a heavy depressive episode as I no longer knew what or who I could trust and began to spiral. This is proof that Radia once said that she was working as a chemical engineer for the government. Her first statement was not on her resume of work experience. Her resume had no gaps either, nor did she have a degree of or any statement of work as a chemical engineer on it. Here is just a screenshot of her saying, I obtained 2 engineering degrees with concentration, but worked my entire uni career as well. And her saying that she does engineering work. Here's a clip from YouTube of her speaking on her education background as well, which does not line up either with 2 engineering degrees. This was stated freely in my public community server back in 2023. She had told us she had 2 engineering degrees, when in reality she had, as listed on her LinkedIn, a degree in biology and a degree in environmental science and engineering. I had believed this information about my friend for years, and to find out something so weird was being lied about to me devastated me. I began to emotionally spiral and no longer knew what to do. I spoke with several friends during this time and I was hurt and wanted support. I did not send any personal information, however, about her to any of them other than the reason why I no longer trusted her and what was causing me to spiral, aka that she was lying to me about her education background. I don't know why somebody else, finding out that somebody else's educational background was not what you thought it would be makes you spiral. Isn't that a little dramatic? I'm sorry I decided to talk to my friends because I was hurt. It's a human thing to want support when you're hurt, and I wish I went to less people and folks that were less connected to both of us. But what was done is done, and I take ownership that in my emotional state I reached out to too many folks. So she kind of admits to talking to a lot of people about Radia apparently lying about her background, but she should have went to Radia first. As for someone claiming all the messages before were lies because I was sending two-faced messages, please check the timestamps. In brief, Adora was lying directly to Radia's face regarding... Oh, this is a screenshot from the other doc. 6364. The night of the 3rd is when I learned about Radia's education background. Oh, so after this message was sent. At that point, I was hurt and realized my friendship was probably ending after having heard her publicly talk bad about me as well as her education background, and I wanted to warn mutual friends that this was going to most likely come to an end because I collab with Radia at least twice a week, and this drastic change of us suddenly not collabing anymore would be noticed. This also lets us avoid awkward collabs in the future. In regards to the doxing allegations. Alright, this is probably the most important part of the doc. The anonymous source on the claim of doxing was my manager at the time, Momo Tornich, who I reached out to ask for professional advice on what to do in this situation. After learning that Radia did not have a master's degree listed on her LinkedIn, despite her having told us multiple times she had a master's degree, as well as different degrees than she ever told me, I went to my manager while emotionally hurt to ask for advice on how to handle this and sent the information we discovered from her LinkedIn to confirm it with her if what I was seeing was correct with her professional opinion. She never declined to do this and agreed to assist and in confidence. I would rather be honest and show this mentally unstable and incredibly poor side of me after I was hurt and not knowing what to do when I thought I was talking in confidence with my manager at the time on what to do in a professional situation with a friend who lied to me about her academic background and not knowing anymore what was truth or fiction. Unrelated parts have been censored. I do not agree with what I said in the past here beyond the lies involving her education background, and this conversation was only with my manager in confidence and no one else. Here are the entire logs with her below. Oh my god. I'm gonna start teaching Google Doc classes to people. This is the thing about people, they're like, I need to be really transparent, so here's everything. Here's our entire conversation, but it's too much! Okay, they're talking about meet and greet. Unrelated note, I'm going to be distancing myself from Radia here, as is Palm and Fen. Unfortunately, during Anime North, a series of small lies happened that she wouldn't take any responsibility for, and now when we looked around, we realized, unfortunately, she's lying about her degrees. This is why I didn't stream Wednesday. I'm just really devastated. I'm sorry, Adora. We're still quietly figuring out how to deal with a compulsive liar. I'm genuinely afraid of her. The lack of masters also throws a lot more into question because her EPA lab work claims would require masters to even get into the lab and handle radioactive material. And not putting any higher education and the timeline of her graduation on her LinkedIn just gives no time to have gotten a master's. especially when it's been up to date as of 2025. So yeah, she terrifies me. I generally think what she's doing might be worse than Cinder. Do you have any advice on what to do here? Dude, the self-awareness is, not there. Manager is like, oh god, let me think of that. They're talking about random stuff. And Dora says, I want you to know I feel rancid putting my friend's alleged terminal illness into question, but unfortunately I have friends in higher education that have roommates who worked in those labs. At this point, I was already beginning to question everything because I no longer felt I knew my friend, had no idea that she was telling the truth or lying about. In the end, I really wish this wouldn't have had to be seen in the public eye, but I would rather show the private, confidential conversation I had with my manager that she leaked to Radia and now the public, even if my emotional hurt at the time paints me in a bad light. If Adora's manager leaked this to Radia, it's probably because she didn't agree with what Adora did, right? Momo's like, oh, it's a weird situation for sure. Adora says, we've already screenshotted her claims of having a master as well as her LinkedIn showing no masters. It's problematic as it doxes her, but like also, we went into business together, of course we know her name. This is a crazy sentence. Like, the science community isn't super big. Everyone is like 1 degree of separation. I noticed she doesn't talk about being terminal anymore either, or bring it up like she used to. But radiation exposure at lethal amounts has never been recorded once in an EPA lab. I know something is wrong with her due to her meds, but like, I also think it's just probably lupus and eating disorder with an addiction to laxatives. Jeez. Back with the armchair doctor. The screenshots are shown earlier. Unfortunately, most of what she spoke about on her telling us she had 1.5 master was done in voice call or previous streams VODs, but considered I'm being accused of also talking in voice calls, I will leave it at that. Yeah, lupus is something that requires a ton of meds and a ton of testing. She claims high cysterectomy but has no scars. It gets weird. On a more petty note, she also hides her plastic surgery history. What the fuck? Wait, and Adora leaked that DM? She did that on purpose. She did that on purpose to expose that Radia had plastic surgery, I bet. On a more petty note, she also hides her plastic surgery history with friends, but has gotten cosmetic lip filler and Botox and has claimed herself to be a natural to me. I would not be shocked if she had breast augmentation and not reduction. Yo, that is petty. Really, I just don't know, Momo. It's so hard to know what's real or fake. She lied about her degrees. Then she's posting a screenshot of Radia talking about wanting to get a PhD, but she can't. Adora says MIT PhDs are fully funded with health insurance. Oh, I didn't realize that, but yes, I am. Yeah, most don't. Like, I have my BS and MS hanging out in my bedroom. If someone asked me if I could send a picture of that. She had a BS from a redacted college with no time to have gotten a master. Redclaw was writing in somebody's stream. He seems to be against Adora. This is where I get fucking mad. Momo asked to stay anonymous and Adora ousted her, and also Momo wasn't her manager. Wait, Momo wasn't Adora's manager? Sorry, this part made me fucking live. Are you serious? She kept repeating this was a confidential thing. Adora doesn't even acknowledge what Momo just said about being underpaid 9K and just kept spinning her shit. Yeah, she did. Redclaw thinks that Adora is jealous. I stand by my theory over why all of this happened. I think Adora puts herself in a ton of debt, with VTubing and seeing her friend doing better than her made her spiteful and saw Radia as a threat that needed to be removed. Tomo was also in chat. When I drafted the NDAs for Project STEM, I only considered third-party vendors releasing confidential information. I was not instructed to have them each sign an NDA. It's frustrating in retrospect. And Redclaw adds, notice how the moment she heard that a lawyer was involved, she went from happy and bubbly to cold. I'm assuming that Collage doesn't have the BS/MS track. Adora says, nor did her resume. If you want to see her resume yourself, go look her up on LinkedIn. Momo's like my MS is from Redacted, so it's not super impressive, but I got that 4 years after I got my BS. Adora's like, you still got it though? So Adora's like, to make herself seem more impressive, she lied at Anime North about having food poisoning. She ate ice cream in front of me despite having lactose intolerance. I thought it was yogurt, not ice cream. Like, you will be called out. That's why I stick to what I know when I talk about science. She gaslit me on telling me her off-Kai hotel room upgraded only cost $50, more an entire state, and later said, no, I said otherwise. Oh, fuck. Her not having access to a lab to be exposed to radiation. I remember when I asked when I met her asking why she didn't sue, she claimed government would have it all classified. Bitch, it's the EPA. That's all public record. I can go walk to a Superfund site right now and know what's contaminated on a signed postage. Yeah, that's all classified. Yeah, that isn't classified at all. I know that for a fact because I worked for the redacted office. She is lying to her community, most likely about having a terminal illness she made up to make her VTuber cooler and make money. Anyway, how the fuck do I deal with this information and get far away from her? I haven't been able to get my redacted filled in 3 months. I legit was talking with her about how expensive it is and how my dad was trying to get me some to deal with a GL issue I had for years. Like, that, I don't know, that rubs me wrong 9 ways to Sunday, because we also talked about the issues or subathon. Adora says, I feel so disgusting being complicit in her lies for so long to help her literally lie to my community for money. Momo says, 1, I would make sure everything is recorded, like everything. 2, each one of you should write down every instance of something just not tracking. Make a joint Google Doc for you all to share things with each other in case you have to go public. 3, if possible, slowly start to distance yourself. Have you told Redacted at all about this? My manager, but Red Claw claims he's not her manager, gave me instructions on what to do, to record everything as well as write down everything that felt like a lie. She also said I would make a Google Doc. I ended up not making a Google Doc, with this being the first time I've written one, as explained earlier about what the alleged cancel doc was, just me trying to tell DG Vagrant that we were worried about. Okay, the alleged cancel doc is just like the bullet point doc that they had for the call. So Dora says, not yet, I don't plan to until after we get a document straight if every major issue with receipts. I do plan to inform all of my close friends of my discovery and why Palm Fan and I are distancing. Momo says that is probably for the best. Having your duck in a row is the best method. Adora's like, we thought it was just small white lies. Lying about her degree literally throws her medical stories in question. And Momo's like, I'm so sorry, Adora. And she's like, I'm no longer working with Radia in any capacity. Here soon, so you will be informed. Momo says, yeah, I hate this for you. I hate when people lie about things they can be easily proven. Adora responds, and unlike Redacted, I don't plan to have or ask him to do anything other than just tell him as a party and do what he likes with it. We're mostly focusing on the degree lying and letting other people come to conclusion from that. Regardless, there's no way she has a terminal illness from radiation sickness. Adora says, if you need proof on how it makes no sense, just go look at her LinkedIn yourself. You'll see VTuber stuff quietly hidden into it as of recent this year. Momo's like, I don't even know what her IRL name is, so I can't even look. And Adora says, well, do you promise not to leak it? Momo's like, yeah, I will not leak anything said in DM. He ends up leaking it to Radia though. You'll know it's her from her PFP lol. Oh, yes, I did delete her name after I sent it because I didn't want to keep it there with my manager after she was given the information in confidence. Oh, so she did send her real name. Wow. She had also promised me confidentiality, then broke that immediately as my manager by leaking our conversation. Yeah, to the party you doxed though. Not to, like, the public or something. To the party you doxed. It's not like she went and gave Radia's name to somebody else. This is like the person that was concerned with the crime. Yet I wanted to confirm with her that I knew and trusted her professionally and showed an incredibly emotional and volatile side when I needed help the most. At no other point was Radia's real name given to anyone else. And me saying you do not have a master or chemical engineering degree is not doxing. If you have any physical evidence of me doxing and not whispers of a testimony, please share, else it's word of mouth. The evidence of you doxing is here in the document. You saying, yes, I did delete her name after I sent it. This is the evidence, is you admitting to it. And the evidence is right there. That me being surprised, I have a friend who did chemical engineer and they have their paper list that they wrote. I don't know, but she definitely didn't work at a master level EPA lab. Yeah, showing you this. I hope I don't seem fucking crazy. No, you don't seem crazy at all. You are someone who has a degree in science, which means you understand fact patterns. And if there's a pattern that doesn't add up, you would see it faster than others. My manager also then proceeded to look her up with the information given. At no point did she tell me you shouldn't do this. and engage as well in looking her up, and brought up other personal information from her LinkedIn. I asked for trust from my manager to assist me in navigating this difficult situation, and she ultimately broke it and led to this situation getting even worse when I was already in a highly emotional state and didn't know what to do. On an unrelated note, but important, I will probably be signing up an exclusive contract with Redacted, which is Redacted Management Company, for at least sponsorship gaining. It wouldn't stop us from working together, but it would also mean any opportunities you find you'd have to direct to them so they get their cut too. I was wondering if you'd look over the contract when it sent them my way. Yeah, that's fine, totally understandable, and yeah, I'd still be willing to do that. Their cut, okay, this is not relevant to the document, so I'm just gonna skip. They're talking about Momo's cut. So it seems like Momo was her manager, though. I'm not sure why Red Claw said that it wasn't. Honestly, reading trends, looking at data, and reading over contracts is fun for me, especially data set. It's the reason I leaned Power BI. I hope I didn't seem weird and taken off yesterday. Now I explained the real reason why. I'm admittedly devastated. She was like a sister to me. And she was just lying to my face about the dumbest fucking shit and potentially some of the most problematic stuff around. Momo says, no, not at all. I almost messaged you a joke because you said you got distracted by what Redacted showed you. Lamau, yeah, no. She did send me a pic of her boobs. Oh, Ayu. But that was just us making a fun cover so my community didn't worry. They'll have better insight once we publicly distance. Yeah, that was a good cover. I really hope Ray doesn't try to come after us because, like, we aren't going to make the first punch other than start moving away from her. I hope so too. I don't think she would because that would really be bad on her part. You know what's wild too? Redacted confirmed another gaslight to me, lol. Because where Redacted posted a timestamp of when both me and Ray hired him, she claimed, oh, I already reached out to him. She reached out a day after I did. I think in the end, I'm just going to focus on knowing she is lying about her master, most likely treated me poorly and is not a good friend, and just distance if she starts to attack me. I take it so long as it's not too much. Not worth attacking her on illnesses. We have no way to prove anything. Then stop saying that. Yeah, that probably would be the best. So she has no proof that she's faking her illness. You have the best evidence with the fact that the timeline makes zero sense for her master. In the end, after I calmed down a few hours later, I realized there's no reason to attack or say anything, especially not my concerns about her health, especially publicly, and that my lack of trust wasn't worth dwelling on other than that I know she had lied to me about her education background and had seen her resume myself. Even in my horrible mental state, I never wanted to end Radia's career during this, merely no longer work with her. I regret my past actions and emotional response here, and I'm not proud I spiraled in such a horrible way while I was hurt and begun to let my thoughts race and question everything about Radia, because in the end, that is what hurt Radia and others around me that love and support me. But I was also hurt as well. In the end, she also continued to talk poorly about me and spread her own rumors against me, but this doesn't matter. People are going to talk in private when they are hurt, and I only wish she let it stay there so we could have moved on instead of showing everything to the entire world. After this all went down, I began to cool down as well and realized I was going too far. Yeah, but Adora even admitted that she spoke to many people about Radia, and Radia now has to make a Google Doc because she can't possibly and physically track down every single person that Radia has talked behind her back to. As for other doxing claims, prove it. Same for any criminal claims. You are making the accusations. Show me what you got or press charges because you didn't share the full receipts. And I just showed my entire incredibly uncomfortable message history of my former manager in the event of the doxing who has now made this. Okay, but you shared the name with your manager. Nothing about this DM exchange with her manager exonerates her. If you're going to make claims about me, show me evidence. In fact, please show me evidence of every one of my wrongdoings, because in your document you continue to only place more and more testimonial evidence and only use short screenshots without full context in any situation in an attempt to weaponize larger creators against me with testimonies instead of giving actual proof. That's not evidence, that's word of mouth. Fuck my life, dude. There is another call. Anyway, continuing on here are all the messages with Radia that were done after this. We've already seen the screenshot. She's putting it again, probably so I lose my voice. Radia's DGs and my legal first name are removed here below. This is a big message from Radia saying, fundamentally, I do believe there's a disconnect between my understanding of you and your understanding of me. It leads to friction, misinterpretation, and overall misunderstanding, but I'm willing to actively work to understand you. And in a much grander context, people in general. It'll take both of us talking like we used to in the past. I miss non-content talks, honestly. Sometimes I just wanted to talk to Redacted the person, not Adora the creator. And I think somewhere that did get lost. Just as I have with Redacted over the past year, I want to understand you better, how you operate, and what you actually need. And I mean that on a very holistic level because I don't necessarily know what you are as a person, what you as a person always need. I know what Redacted and Nim need, and I work my best to provide on my continual journey to be a person. But I don't think I ever took the time to ask what you needed as I worked to further learn what being a person actually is, and for that I'm sorry. Leaving you out of the equation regardless of any reasoning wasn't respectful of you nor your emotion. Yeah, this doc is shit. It's just not, it should be, the way it's structured is accusation number 1. Here's how I debunk it. Here's the proof. You don't need more. You just need to show the proof. It doesn't need to be your entire log. And I don't even know. This is just like a screenshot dump. What is this supposed to show? So Radia's asking for an apology. Let me take on a message. We can talk about it more next time. Radia's like, I haven't provided them personalized apologies yet. I simply issued, I do have one for both Palm and Fan specific to them as not to cause additional confusion or obfuscation. Okay, so Radia's thinking about apologizing there. She's being the bigger person. Oh, she said donkey again. All right, they're just kind of trying to schedule a group discussion later this coming week. Here, the document continues. After this portion, we worked on making a call happen. The apology did hit me by surprise and made me want to start reconsider and make things work. Here's the final call between myself, Palm Fan, and Radia's Project STEM. In the beginning, the first version of the call has a 1-minute cut due to Radia speaking private information of another party that we don't want to share. So that's good to hear is in response to that. We did not disclose at the time with her about knowing about her education background because we felt at the time it wasn't going to be productive or helpful to have everyone move on or heal. During this call as well, Radia admits that she had been talking to other people about the situation. It's well within people's right to talk about when a friendship is hurting in private with other friends and loved ones, and that includes both sides. The beginning of the call is edited to remove around 1 minute of footage when Radia is talking about her day because it involved private personal information of an uninvolved party. Later on, Radia admits that she had in fact talked badly about us, specifically on that stream. And at 25 minutes, I clarified a point that Radia had made issues with during the document of abuse and gave my clarification with her. I ask you to please listen to all our words during this call. I genuinely meant what I said at the time and thought everything could be better and thought we could come back from this. Radia then decided how to announce her departure on her own turn, and myself, Palm, and Fan decided on what the Project STEM side announcement would be. At no point did we tell her to lie or claim why she was leaving and work with her releasing what she wanted to say on her own terms. In the end, the truth of the matter is, Fan, Palm, and myself had asked her to leave as shown in this call. After this call, Radia no longer reached out or showed any interest to talk to me. After this call, Alicia cut ties with Radia on her own. I do not control my friend, and Alicia is an adult with her own action, as seen in DMs posted by Alicia on her Twitter. I realized the friendship was over with Radia and began to move on when it was clear she was not responding to me anymore. The wound was still fresh at the time and I was hurt, and I told close friends about the situation to try and heal. I can't control people talking about this, but in the end, it was my experience and pain, and I'm allowed to seek comfort in private just as Radia as well. The only communication between this time and Offkai was me asking for her to delete her copy of the Project STEM website. Her messages were deleted, and I did not save them, and they aren't relevant, thankfully. During this period of time after the fallout, my depression only worsened. My mental health continued to deteriorate as I only focused on work at best due to losing my best friend. My house became full of trash and I was not taking care of my hygiene. I didn't like myself or know what to think anymore. At Offkai, I told 3 friends about the situation in person that I hadn't been able to talk about before with it. I do not apologize for talking to my friends about my pain, just as sure you spoke about your pain with me to others. But it sounds like Adora spoke to a lot of people. I then went into a call with Laserpig at Offguy, where the statements on accusations of the document came forward. At this time, I was confused because to me, there never was a document, and I repeated to him over and over that there was no document because I sincerely believed in my heart that there wasn't, and I hadn't made one like my manager suggested. Unfortunately, the issues list we partially went over during the intervention that I had sent to DG was perceived as one. I felt immense regret and immediately sent Radia a message after I realized this after Offguy what Laserpig was talking about so I could open lines of communication and help settle the misunderstanding. She never responded to me. Oh, that was the apology message that was there in Radia's document. So that's the timeline for this. Okay, so after she spoke to Laserpig, she felt bad because they thought that that bullet point doc for the call was like a cancel doc. At this point, I had hurt Palm and Fen by realizing what I did when I sent the intervention list to Digi, which is why I asked her to focus her ire on me and not Palm and Fen, as I had made the situation worse for everyone by my carelessness. I hurt two of my best friends at the time, and it began to make me spiral worse in my depression. After Offguy, Alicia X-Life brought me into an amazing intervention with 4 other good friends, having noticed my mental health was deteriorating and how my behavior was going forward towards my friends. She gave a strong heart-to-heart with me, and I took it as best as I could. Unfortunately, after the intervention, my mental health still got worse, and I began to believe everyone hated me. I will mention this now, my mental health is not Alicia's fault, and if not for her intervention, I would never have gotten the help I needed. As it got worse throughout the week, on the Saturday I announced my hiatus, I put a painkiller bottle in my hand. I was ready to swallow all of it before I realized I wanted to live because I couldn't hurt my friends and parents by taking my life. If not for a crisis counselor I spoke with and my parents after, I would not be here today to write this. I spoke with this trained and trusted crisis counselor on Discord. Here is me contacting the crisis counselor. So Dora also came super close to taking her life. This seems to have also affected her a lot. So this was when she took the hiatus, and she was mad when Radia made the hiatus about her. Like, she thought it was because of their falling out. And then Dora was like, no, it wasn't. But it was, I guess. Or if not, why put it here? Hey, question, are you emotionally available right now? I saw your post, and although my issues aren't related to a friend passing, I am in need of help, and I don't know what to do right now. After my side attempt, I announced and wrote my hiatus, which was posted over an hour later. I decided the hiatus was necessary due to this attempt, so I took several weeks off to recenter because I didn't like who I was at this point, having hurt Palm, Fan, and others in Alicia's circle, and almost taken my life over everything going on. S-side is never the answer, and I would never wish this on anyone. I also never once spoke publicly on these issues other than I had contacted my crisis counselor on my return stream, nor about Radia because I wanted to move on. She, however, could not. It seems like their friendship just isn't working. Maybe Adora acts totally fine with other people, but it seems like Radia's maybe passiveness at first enabled Adora to take more and more side, and their relationship turned into some kind of toxic relationship. I don't know how Adora acts with other people, but clearly her and Radia, it's not working out for both of them. And there's been a lot of hurt, and there's been a lot of messed up stuff that happened. After I had made my hiatus announcement due to my own side attempt and having heard Palm, Fan, Alicia, and other friends in Alicia's friend circle, Radia then posted an announcement to her community about my hiatus. Okay, this has been talked about in the original document, hiatus. And then Adora got mad because of Radia's announcement saying it's speculations, and she's like, this has nothing to do with any external situation. And then this also caused Alicia to do the announcement in her own Discord server. I sent the first DM below after she made her public post about my hiatus to her community, and then after I received no response, I sent another message the morning after I made my own statement because, once again, I wanted to communicate. Figured I'd mention as well, but even during hiatus, my communication channels are open if you ever want to talk about stuff. Therapy going wild, my house is finally cleaner than ever. So since there is now a public statement, I'm going to say this again. Our situation has nothing to do with the hiatus. Oh yeah, we read those. Okay, I don't need to read them again. It's the same screenshot. Here is evidence once again showing she had removed all her DMs with me in an attempt to hinder my own defense or hide information. You do what's best for you. I'm happy to hear you're getting the help you need. That's great, but once again, do not speak on my behalf publicly. Okay, so this is a screenshot that was in Radia's document, and Adora here is just showing this to make a point to showcase that Radia deleted all of her DMs with her. For full context on this exchange, Radia had made a statement on my hiatus without having known any of this previous information of my S-side attempt and why I had attempted S-side. I had once again reached out to extend an olive branch and move on. She had not talked to me since that previous call and never sent me any replies during this time with the exception of the message she later deleted in our DMs. At this time, my side attempt was not public knowledge. I immediately sent her a message, first out of kindness, but then realized after no response, I wanted to clarify to my own community that she was not speaking for me or involved. She inserted herself into my S-side attempt without knowing what it was about by commenting on my hiatus. As she had not talked to me in weeks, I was devastated and told her that our situation had nothing to do with my hiatus. I ended up making a statement publicly about my mental health due to her announcement, as Radia did not know my mental health situation at the time. Later in that day, I was sent a DM by Alicia that she had responded and posted about Radia's statement. I think a better way to have handled this was she could have DM'd Radia and said, hey, like, the statement you made on your Discord is making me uncomfortable because this is not really why I was doing the hiatus and stuff. Can you please correct it? Instead, they're doing like this like cold war, like this passive aggressive war with each and every single one of them, like vague announcements, vague Discord announcements, like vague tweeting, but for Discord. But they're clearly like referencing each other. Alicia ended up making a response because she was heavily involved in my hiatus and was confused as to why Radia was inserting herself into it when it didn't involve her and the gravity of my hiatus. Pomp was the one who told Alicia about it, not me, as stated by Alicia on Twitter. At this point, I no longer wanted to say anything to anyone and just continued to keep my distance and realized that I would not be able to work with Radia to any extent. At this point, I asked to step away from a D&D campaign because I couldn't work with Radia at all anymore and felt there was no room to change here. After having had her insert herself as the reason on my S-side attempt, I told this to all members of the group and let them keep playing. I did not demand Radia to leave, just that I am leaving and she had hurt me publicly, which she did. I did not want to get into that I had attempted, aside just that I wanted to walk away. I don't want to blame others or anyone for attempting to take my life because I spiraled due to my environment and factors around me. It's not Radia's or anyone's fault that I spiraled and came out from this. What matters is that I'm alive. True. This is her talking about her experience with somebody. As well, after this, 2 members in the D group had reached out to want to try and mend things since they knew of our tensions and issues after I had spoken about all of this. I immediately responded in agreement. I do not have this group DM anymore as I have been removed from it. Radia never replied publicly in the group DM and instead acted in silence and never actually wanted to settle this with me through them. This goes once again against Radia's narrative that I had never tried to reach out or bury the hatchet and that she was always ready and willing to do so. I wish I could share it, however, I was removed and I didn't think to save it. Once again, she hid parts of the narrative to better fit hers. Here are 3 different censored screenshots chains of me reaching out to 3 different folks who had offered to help mediate between myself and Radia. I had always been trying to reach out so we could move on after my hiatus, but in the end, Radia would not come to the table, then claim I instead was not trying to solve this. Mediator 1, appreciate you also wanted to reach across the aisle with Ray and me. I don't know if she'll agree to it, and honestly, I hope she does. Mediator 2, I do hope Ray is willing to talk. I really wish you realized I just want to bury the hatchet and move on. Mediator 3, do you want me to try and bridge this gap? And she says, if you're willing, I know you offered first, but I do care about your own well-being too. Let me get this shit together. This is just our conversation about it. Nothing too important. So I'm keeping these 3 people anonymous for their safety, as they were third parties I had reached out to who genuinely wanted to try and mend things between me and Radia. So what happened? Did all of these attempts were unconclusive? At this point going forward, I never brought up Radia again myself to anyone other than the mediator one last time after. The only time I ever spoke about her was if I was asked and said everything's fine, I wish her the best, and I've moved on. And were myself trying to find ways to extend an olive branch to settle this issue with Radia through a third party. I would then post usually Uma Musume memes or strategy with friends or talk about something else like Night Rain with friends. I had moved on and was getting help, including therapy and spending time with friends during my hiatus, however. Radia could not stop bringing up these past issues publicly, despite myself, Fenari, and Pro never saying anything at all in public. During my hiatus, while I was trying to reach out to her, both of these clips happened. Here is her talking about leaving Stim, starting at 356, as well as stating once again she departed when instead we had asked her to leave and then accused Palmfen and myself of childishness, as well as said poorly of our group when none of us have said anything to the matter publicly other than this tweet. This tweet being notice of departure of radioactive. Okay. 356.
Am I still part of STEM? No, I decided to depart from that. And again, not really going to talk much about on that at the current moment. I will talk more on things as you have seen the immaturity of others. I will leave it at that.
Oh.
STEM was an org. STEM was not an org in any way, shape, or form. No.
Oh, wait, but speaking of STEM, I have a visual STEM for you.
Oh, thank you.
Have
Have a good one, Dudicus.
a good one. Wait, is their name actually Dudicus?
Yeah, it is.
That's incredible. Okay, so I want you to
cool.
actually play a little game of Where's Waldo, because there may be something in there that's a little nod to a certain buddy of mine that may or may not be on the screen with me right now. I'm just saying.
I gotta zoom in extra.
Enhance!
Zoom. Aww. It's so cute. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. That's so sweet. Does STEM exist? Yes, STEM still exists currently. Again, I'm not gonna speak further on anything today, but it still exists. I just personally have departed for my own reasons, and that will be discussed in the future.
Yay. Yeah, yes, Stin. We're talking about you. Radia has departed ways with you, Stin Bobin. You specifically.
No! Abandon my chat.
You, not your chat, just Stin.
No, yeah. No, you get out of here. Kidding. No, but I'm fine. I just wish people would actually have
It's like a 3D model.
functional minds sometimes.
Functional minds.
Fair and valid.
All I can say.
Yeah, I think Radia was ready to move on. You know, when you have like a really bad experience with somebody, even if they try to reach out and apologize, once you've gotten some distance, you're like, well, do I really want to get back into this?
I have to, because I cannot handle it anymore.
It has
That's-
reached the point.
Like, Stacy is being very blunt here. It is bad. It is very bad.
Yeah.
So it's at that point, and yeah, peak criticality, if you will.
Oh dear.
Gale of Darkness, yeah, Cinnamon, we're gonna play that probably like later this week. Hulk, you just let me know your schedule and I will get it fixed. It just seems to be a little controller issue, and that requires me to kill my PC for a minute.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Listen.
Her
We
model
press
is
on,
so
we
pretty.
continue
Like
to
her
press
face
on.
is
Figure it out.
beautiful.
That's
Yeah, I
right.
gotta make my schedule later today anyway.
Hell yeah. You pick a day, I will conform.
Okay.
You just let me know when you have time. Hugs for supporting intent. I appreciate it. You'll ready your panic levels. Don't do that. Like, obviously, it is what it is when I say it. It is just going to, it is going to suck. It is going to be rough for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am sorry, but sometimes people do bad things to others. And I can't continue to live through this in silence.
Okay.
So
Damn
that is
right.
all I am going to say right now.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
don't really have the capacity to deal with it much longer. Being quiet.
You shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't have had to deal with it as long as you did. The fact that you did is a saintly move on your half. But you know what? It's getting done. I'm so sorry. I'm being blunt about it, but you know, I after what has been told to me, I'm going to be a bit blunt and cunty about it.
Yeah, her voice is great.
No, you've got a right to be. I just try to extend ultimate kindness.
Yeah.
In all directions. I genuinely chat. I wish I could tell you right now. I can't. But I am.
I kind of get why she was more successful.
I have been
the
having
voice
a very
and model
rough
is so
time.
great.
So I am sorry if things have been kind of like up and down, especially the past 2 weeks. Really the past 2 months, things have been funky, and I don't like having to not tell you all the truth. I don't like the fact that I couldn't admit I was in the hospital for heart issues related to this. Because it was related to this. It's rough. So I don't like holding on to that silently. I really don't. Because I just want to have fun. Like, I'm just a wacky lady on the internet who would like to have fun again. And
Yeah.
my joy has kind of been robbed from me. And that's really hurt. It's really, really hurt.
And you deserve to have that same joy back. You deserve to have that rich experience
Yeah.
of good things that everybody else does and deserves.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
As I have
Having both of you can
stated,
participate and said fun. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like I like having fun. I like having good times. I like doing fun things for y'all. Like I really enjoy. Like I look forward to some of the fun little like wacky things that I have planned. Like look at this little creature. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys something because it's cute. Look at him. Look at him. Here, you get a free
Creature.
sneak peek.
The big goal.
You guys get a free one of this because he's really cute in this. You get one of the looks at his outfits, okay? Look at him. He's adorable.
Creature. Little creature.
Little creature. Like, I don't really like my content being marred by sadness. And it unfortunately has been. I just like being happy. Is he in a sweater? He's in a sweater. He's in a sweater. He's in a little sweater. He's very cute.
I mean, she did kind of mention it, I guess, and they're talking about, very childish, and the other guy saying, oh, you had to put up with shit along. So I guess the audiences can put two and two together and figure out who she's talking about, but at the same time, she has also been going through traumatic stuff at the end of this friend group. Maybe she's also done some bad things towards them, but I feel like Adora could have went more in depth about what Radia did to her that led her to feel so frustrated, besides what she thinks are the lies or the white lies, because we don't have much evidence to prove that these are in fact lies, which is why this document is so flimsy. I think that's why it's so shaky, because her main accusation, like Adora's main accusations, is that Radia was lying to them consistently, and I get that because I've been around like compulsive liars, and it is like annoying when they just make up stuff all the time, because you're like, I don't know what to believe anymore. It's not that it's like something outrageous. It's not like that you're being mean to me. It's just that if you're lying to me about this, I don't know what else you're lying about. But the problem is, again, that the document doesn't offer enough insight on or proof on to why she thinks these are lies. And even though maybe both parties hurt each other, it feels like one party did way, way worse than the other, or like crossed too many lines, and that's Adora's party. Anyway, so when Radia says, I will never forgive you, Adora explains that this was her only attempt to reach out to me for weeks after she had not responded to any of my messages. During this time, I had spoken with other third parties, and I tried to talk over this and move on from the situation. I also reached out to previous third mediator to try and figure out what she had sent me this message, and I only learned days later that this was sent during her S-side attempt. Oh. I genuinely hope you are able to get the help you need because I know what it's like when life feels hopeless and you want to end it all. Many people care about you and I'm happy you're still alive. I just wish you would have responded to my attempts to communicate over 5 weeks ago. I sent this below to the third mediator shortly after waking up to it. I did not get a response. The 3 anonymous people were no longer further involved in any way after July 13th. In the end, she never agreed to reach out until a week ago on the 27th. She reached out to me with demands to have a call through an anonymous and neutral third party. Oh, that's the call that they organized with Laserpig. And he said that Adora had like really odd vibes and she kept repeating the same thing, that she wants to bury their hatchet and move on. At the time, I was dealing with my mom going into surgery for her hip replacement, so I asked for an extension of time, so instead the call was done on July 30th. I readily and happily agreed, thinking we could finally move on. She stated in her DMs with me that are now deleted that she would need a neutral party in the call. But unfortunately, this neutral party was Laserpig, who helped write the cancel doc against me. Laserpig is not a neutral party. That's also something I told myself when I read Radia's document. I was like, well, Laserpig is in the document and he's acting as a neutral party in the call. He's probably not neutral, you know, he's probably made up his mind by that point, but I digress. It's not a big deal, it's just something I noticed. Radia and Laserpig did not want to move on. They instead interrogated me, especially when Laserpig was never involved in this situation, but instead involved himself. I was immediately at the beginning of the call threatened with legal action, so in my own safety to protect myself, I responded with a very vague statement to not incriminate myself. This is also why I sound very repetitive in the call. Oh, wait, she recorded that call too? Dude, this is legit the raccoon is recording meme. Like, careful, Makina is listening. In the call, once again, I reiterate, wanted to move on and was not talking about her. Unfortunately, they did not take it to heart and dropped their document, and now we are here. Throughout this interrogation, I was accused of everything from causing her attempt at S-side, her roommate dropping out of college, despite me not having talked to her roommate in over 6 weeks in any capacity. Yeah, but it wasn't directly because of Adora, it's because of what she put Radia through, so she couldn't support the roommate anymore. And other claims when I hadn't talked to her in weeks about her as well. And called a liar despite showing no evidence that I had been talking behind her back since my hiatus begun. The only times I had ever talked about her was with third parties to try and reach out and mend the situation so we could both move on. Notice how she was like, and I hadn't talked to anyone about it after my hiatus. So she did talk to people about it before her hiatus. I will not be naming these third parties out of respect. You've already said that. You don't need to keep repeating it. In conclusion, 2 friends generally had hurt each other. Both had attempted S-side and were toxic for each other. And in the end, it would have been for the best if we both just moved on. But Radia decided to come after me for document instead, and despite my best efforts to keep communication open. Nobody committed crime, and this should have never had to be written. We both messed up. And we're not good friends for each other in the end. I don't know if having asked her to explain her education background when I found out would have changed anything. But in the end, I just want to move on with my life and have since my hiatus over 6 weeks ago. She continued to speak in her document that she had been willing to move on from this for months, when in reality she had threatened me with lawyers, as well as never responded to any of my communications or attempts to reach out after I had no longer been speaking about her for a month and only wanted to move on, as well as send me the only message of "I will never forgive you. Thank you for all of those who try to reach out, and meant I hold no ill will against you for trying to make communication happen. I'm not going to debunk every testimony against me that is without evidence. Believe in the end what you want, because I cannot give evidence for things I did not do. Yes, I talked with my friends, and Radia did with hers, which she also admitted in the second call. Looking to friends for support is not a crime. Many people given testimonies against me have never asked for my side, declined to hear my side, or asked for my side in bad faith. Their minds were already made up, but I'm giving you everything I have here, as well as my entire side of the events and all recording cover. Okay, you gave us 2 entire of the same conversation though. It wasn't like everything. It wasn't all of her Discord log. It was 2 really big conversations that finally didn't reveal anything new. As for anyone else who has made statement about me, our communication lines are open if you want to talk and settle things or have issues with me. Before this point, I already was about to have to make a financial decision to potentially leave content and return to being an engineer in order to pay my bills. All I want to do now is move on with my life, and I've been for the past 6 weeks. I know I messed up, but so did she. Let's just move on like we should have had a month ago, like I wanted and asked for. Crazy because now she said she wanted to quit content creation, right? And she's saying it now, but Sylvie Spark, which I dislike, but he found her and he says she's been trying to rebrand. Heads up, Adora Bunny seems to be gearing up for a rebrand. Her VR chat name went from Adora_Bunny to Rose Rave, and she also changed her Discord and her to Rose Raver. It looks like she even has a new character design in place. She isn't rebranding? Well, what is she then? She just doesn't want to be known as Adora Bunny because she's hiding, no? Like maybe she's not gonna stream again. That's her old OC that she had before being a VTuber. She's dropping being a VTuber 100%. Okay. So she's not gonna go back to streaming, but she changed her name on Discord. I kind of want to know about the legal action though. I want to listen to the first few seconds of the clip.
Heyo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can.
She even deleted her Discord server and unfriended everyone. Yeah, but that could be because she's avoiding, you know.
I can hear you.
Yep, I can hear you too. Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm tired. And I want this to end.
We can both agree on that then. I am so happy to
I'm
hear
gonna
Bury
be
the Hatchet,
rude.
Ray.
Yeah. However, it's not just gonna be a silent burying. I'm gonna be honest, I had to involve a lawyer. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very happy about any of this.
Well, she said she's involving a lawyer.
At all. I'm gonna be really honest.
Ray, we both hurt each other. And we broke each other's trust. Just bury the hatchet. It's just private between friends at the end of the day. Like,
You doxed me!
What?
I did not dox you.
Oh, so she knew about the doxing then. Damn, what a confrontation, actually.
Adora, I have evidence that you doxed me and testimony from an individual.
Radia, we broke each other's trust.
She is repeating the same shit over and over again.
That's what, and friendships can end. That's okay. Like, I'm hurt as well. We are both hurt. And that's fine. We can move on.
Sorry, can I just ask something?
Of course.
Adora, how did Radia
Yeah,
break
I
the
get it now. Yes, exactly, Becca. Like, doxing happened first, and then Radia started to involve a lawyer. Mm-hmm.
trust and hurt you?
I don't think it really matters at this point to say.
I mean,
We both
think I'd like to hear.
She knows as well. We're friends. We were friends. We talked about it at the end of the day. I just want to bury the hatchet and move on.
Oh my god, the vibes are so rough. Like, it's true that Adora sounds, I don't know, like she just keeps repeating the same thing like deadpan.
You did things that don't make it able to bury the hatchet.
Dog needs to
I'm
open
just
the
saying.
door.
You don't get to do this.
I'm not doing anything.
You have a problem. You have a problem. Full stop. This is a problem.
Okay.
You could have kept this between closed parties. And it could have been solved, any miscommunication or whatever other problems you had.
Radia?
You decided to go out of that sphere.
Radia, we both hurt each other. It's a private matter between us at the end of the day.
This is not private, Adora. This is not private. You did not make this private.
I have never said
At
anything
all.
publicly.
Adora, you did not make this private because you spread it to every person in the friend circle. You weaponized people against me. You actively defamed me.
Once again, happy to bury the hatchet. Just move on. We can be quiet moots.
You shot me. Listen, let's just move on. I'm happy to bury the hatchet. No, but Adora, you shot me. Listen, this is a beef between friends. Let's just move on. You can't say that.
Can coexist.
You drove me to suicide, Adora.
I really genuinely hope you can get some help. Like, I really do hope you can get some help, Ray.
Wow.
And if you need a moment, like, it's okay. Like, I'm fine with that, like, there. But, like, please, take care of yourself, okay?
I've been trying to do that. However, you decided to dive into information that I keep scant on the internet in order to prove your fictitious points. Lied. And continued to.
True, and she's like, I was suicidal because of you, Adora. You drove me to suicide. And Adora's like, take a step back. Take a break. What is going on here?
Proliferate that. With no care and reckless abandon. At no point have you actually tried to correct the
Yeah, no apology. Nothing. You can't make this shit up.
record, even privately, about what you did.
I've been very clear here. We both hurt each other. We both broke
Oh,
each other's
come
trust.
on.
Well, see, I mean, that's the fourth time that you've said. I'm sorry for interviewing it again, but that's the fourth time you've said that.
Yeah.
And I asked you what you meant by that, and you still have not answered. And if you're going to be honest, you're going to be clear.
I am.
What
At this point, I'd prefer she says, I'm sorry you feel that way.
what has Radia done to deserve anything that you have done to her? What trust has she broken? How has she hurt you?
We've had previous conversations. It's not relevant in the situation right now at the end of the day.
We have not had previous conversations.
Adora, this is the one conversation that it is very relevant in.
Hey, once again, I'm going to ask if there's anything else after this as well, but like, I just want to remain like quiet, silent moods. We can coexist and move on, Ray.
You sent my IRL name to people.
They fucked up by talking about lawyers right away because Adora had naturally just shut down. True, out of self-preservation. Yeah, they could have kept that till later and maybe she would have talked more.
I'm happy to bury the hatchet at the end of the day. That's all I want at the end of the day.
You should have elected that months ago. If that's what you wanted to do, that should have been done before lying to people at Offkai, purposefully isolating me, giving my personal information, saying that I wasn't actually sick, and then trying to hammer that as a point. When that is not true.
Is there anything else? At the end of the day, I'm here because I want to bury the hatchet and move on. We both hurt each other.
I have been
and it's
gracious.
easy enough
I
to
have
do
been
that.
gracious to you the entire time. No, it's not actually. No, it's not. You caused NIM to fail their finals and go into academic suspension. They lost their funding for college. I can't cover that. You lied about my financial position. You lied about NIM being a tenant. They're not a tenant.
Take a shot every time
The
you hear
amount
the
of
word
wrongdoings is
hatchet.
vast. And from the court of public opinion to the court of law, they do spread. I am tired. If you wanted to truly ever bury the hatchet, that should have been something engaged on your end months ago. It should not have metastasized to whatever cancer it is now.
Dude, hearing this call is like listening to a car crash. Again, this is another call that Adora added to her document in hope that this would exonerate her, but it makes her look so bad.
I have been very respectful. I have tried to prostrate myself so that this would quiet down in the early days, but that never stopped you from going forward with this.
I'm just gonna say once again, we both hurt each other. It's a private matter, Ray. I'm happy to move on.
I think we've established, just for the sake of clarity, that it's not a private matter. A lot of people have been involved, a lot more than I thought.
Yes, that's why it needed. That's the thing, though. Adora keeps saying that it should have been kept between friends, but too many people have been involved for that.
To the point where I'm getting messages from people that I don't normally get messages from, asking me about what is
What?
going on and sharing with me details that I then had to go to Radia or Digi and go, is this true? And they're saying, well, yes. And on top of that, this is now the third time I've asked you, Adora, what has Radia done to hurt or offend you in this manner?
And remember very well how she hurt me in the past. I'm ready to move on, LP.
I've already asked Radia.
Say what she did. Why won't she say it?
I've already asked Radia, and I've had her opinion. I'm now asking you.
I don't really know.
Oh my
Sorry,
god!
sorry, Radia, could you just let Adora finish, please?
At the end of the day, I'm just hoping we can bury the hatchet and move on, Ray. That's it.
There's no way she says that again.
But to bury
There's
the hatchet,
no
there doesn't
way.
need some sort of level of trust between the two of you, because there's nothing that stops you burying the hatchet 2-3 months ago. So why is it taking till now to bury the hatchet? And again, you're not answering. You're not
I have
answering my
always
question.
extended an olive branch. My lines of communication have always been open. I have never closed them. I am ready to move on. I've been wanting this conversation for a while, and I'm just happy to be quiet, silent moose. We can coexist. Everything will be all right.
Okay, so moving forward, there's not going to be anything from you against Radia from this point on.
Correct.
And I'm not going to be hearing stuff from
Okay.
other VTubers or other YouTubers.
Yeah, Laserpig is actually doing well here. I thought he'd be more biased against Radia, but he's doing well.
No.
That you've said something in private.
From this point on, no.
Okay.
You have genuinely, I say
Do you
that
think-
from the bottom of my heart. I'm not talking about
Well,
Radia.
from the bottom of your heart, do you think you will Radia an apology?
I think
The silence! The silence!
I am sorry, genuinely, that it came to this and that we hurt each other and feel these ways, because that's not cool. And that's what I feel, at least at the bottom of my heart, is that we did both hurt each other and broke each other's trust. And I think that's the best for at least at the end of the day. It's best if we just move on.
Okay, so she sort of apologized, but she kind of was like, not met her halfway, but then she was like, but we both hurt each other, and I guess that's her way of making this apology okay in her mind. It's like a half-assed apology, yeah.
I'm just happy to bury the hatchet, and we can just coexist.
She could have said, I'm sorry I hurt you. And then waited for Radia to also apologize. Instead of being like, we both did bad things.
That's all.
Yeah, I'm sorry that it came to this. This is wild.
I mean, I'll say this. How exactly can we bury the hatchet and move on if there's no level of trust between the two of you? I mean, it's fine to sit there and say,
We broke each
I'm ready
other's
to move
trust
on,
at the
let's
end of
bury
the day.
hatchet, but you keep saying that, but how?
My actions?
What
Not-
actions?
I won't be talking about Radia. I haven't been talking about Radia for weeks.
Yeah,
Right.
that's because Veggie's holding you at gunpoint to literally stop this behavior.
No, I just don't
Because
talk
it
about
is. No. Adora,
Charlie.
stop. Stop it right now. I had a conversation.
Hey, Rosen Sky. Now, this has to be based in jealousy that snowballed from non-issues. They realized it at this point, no doubt. Yes, it's definitely based in envy and jealousy. The apology takes no accountability on her hand. I know! It's driving me insane!
With the man. That's why I'm even here right now, is really on behalf of him, because he mentally can't handle anything else at the current moment and doesn't want to see this, erupt further.
Right. Radia, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. You have nothing to worry about from me. Is there anything else?
I mean, why? Why now suddenly change your mind? Given your behavior over the past couple of months,
I've been this way
why
for the
does
past
Radia
month. I have wanted to
Okay.
have this conversation for the past month. And I'm so happy we're finally actually having this conversation.
Okay.
Then make an active effort to actually engage in that, not just my lines are open, because I'm going to be honest. With what was done to me, I don't necessarily want to have communication.
And that's fine. That's why
And that's
LP is here
fair.
right now. And that's okay. But we don't need to communicate now from going on, because we're not going to need to. Bury the hatchet and move on and coexist does not mean we need to keep talking. It'll be fine.
Oh,
We'll
did
be
we
okay.
get
Okay,
rated?
then am I free to explain what was done to me publicly? Because
It was a private matter
incredibly
between
heinous.
us, Radia. It was a friend. We hurt each other. We broke each other's trust. It doesn't need to be known to the public. A private matter at the end of the day.
We've established it wasn't a private
It was
matter.
not a private matter, and this is a long and storied history of you continuing to perform actions such as these against various parties. This is not just the first time.
I've done
This
no
is a
such thing.
problem. I would have loved to move on. Maybe a week after this entire mess transpired, when it was still possible and there were things I could forgive with much difficulty. We are not in that. You feel no sense of remorse over driving someone to deep points of grief. You feel
Yeah.
no remorse over the hospitalization or anything else. You feel no remorse over having Alicia decide to rip me and her part in her Discord based off slander. I don't see any remorse. I don't.
At the end of the
At
day,
all.
I just want to move on. Bury the hatchet.
Oh
That's all
my
it needs to be.
god! She's like a broken
We've
record!
said that 9 times now, but again, as I'm trying to explain, there needs to be
Dude, Laserpig's there with the counter.
some sort of level of trust between you. And that starts with admitting wrongdoing.
I have said specifically, we hurt each other and we broke each other's
No,
trust.
Nine
you haven't.
shots.
All you've said is we
You
hurt
haven't.
each other. But again, I'm asking you, how did Radia hurt you? This is your chance to explain it to me now.
We've already
without-
talked in the
without
past
anyone
in a
else's
private
involvement.
manner. We've
Okay.
already talked in the past. I've made that clear in the past.
Listen,
Is it-
Adora's just stuck in the NPC dialogue, okay? She can't help
Is that
it.
the only thing you're going to say from this point on?
The
Anything else?
NPC dialogue
I'm
tree.
very happy to just bury the hatchet.
I know you are. If this conversation was a drinking game,
Not that I'm calling her an NPC, it feels like that. It feels like she has like A, B, or C in terms of dialogue. She just picks one every time she needs to answer something.
and I was taking a shot every time you said bury the hatchet, I would be fucking dead by now.
Ready to move on?
True!
I have moved on, actually.
Okay,
I hope we can
Let's-
all move
let's-
on together.
He
Let's-
did. He literally said what you said, Mila. That you could take a shot.
let's ask
Yeah.
you a different question then. What is it about today that has made you want to move on? That you couldn't
I have
several weeks
wanted.
ago?
I have wanted to several weeks ago.
Okay, so why now? What's changed?
Because she contacted me and accepted my olive branch. That's all.
Okay, but she's
Let
been
her respond.
accepting your olive branch for the past 2 months.
Yeah, I have been incredibly kind and gracious in keeping this private and relegated, which you have not offered me the same respect at all, in any way, shape, or form.
I have never spoken publicly about this, and I'm going to continue to never speak publicly about this. It's a private matter between us.
That's
I'm not talking about you at all, even in private.
yeah, that's wonderful. That doesn't really change what you did before. That's great now. That doesn't change what you did.
Mm.
And you have to understand from our perspective, you've lied to me, you've lied to Radia. What is to say that you're not lying now?
I'm not lying.
If you want to bury the hatchet and move on at the end of the day from the bottom of your heart, then there needs to be a level of trust.
Trust is gone in this situation. We've hurt each other, and we genuinely don't trust each other at the end of the day. I'm so happy to move on.
So how do we move on?
Once again, quietly coexist. Easy.
Because that would be great if everyone could do that. But why was that a thing that could have been done a month ago? Why has this kept going and going and going and going?
Yeah. Going forward, I promise I won't backstab you anymore.
I haven't said anything in the last month since my hiatus. There's nothing
Okay,
going
well, that's
on
a
right
lie.
now.
And you know that's a lie. So you've lied to me again.
Is there anything else? Once again, I'm saying it now. I'm not talking behind your back. I'm ready to
That
move
doesn't
on.
really resolve. That doesn't resolve everything before.
Dude. You know, Adora, I think there's a group you should meet because you, Aster, and Cinder would be great friends.
At all. And if you're wanting to move on, you need to actually
No, Adora's playing the Don't Apologize challenge nightmare mode.
apologize to me, not just, we heard
And she's winning.
each other. No, you did criminal activity towards me. You engaged in slander.
Is there anything else?
You engaged in doxing me, Adora.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple individuals who have told me this is not a game.
I'm just repeating once again.
You stepped
to coexist
too
and move
far
on.
over the line. And this is the reason for, at this point, multiple years that you have not been privy and to transparent personal information, because when I've been transparent, it comes back to me from other people. This is not uncommon. This is an issue that spreads across various individuals at this point in time. This is a problem.
I think we've said our piece. I'm happy to coexist, Radia. I'm happy to move on. We can move on. It'll be okay.
I'm crashing out.
It'll be okay. Uh-huh. Is it okay that for 2 months I have had to, almost 3 at this point, suffer immensely? Is it okay that this is almost...
We were both hurt.
How were you hurt?
I have never tried to systematically undo your life. At all. In any way, shape, or form. You purposefully, with direction and malice, executed that. Upon me. You don't just get to bury this silently, because you never engaged with this being a silent matter.
I'm just going to say once again,
No.
I'm happy to coexist. I'm happy to move on in this way.
I was literally gonna be okay. Which one of her 3 dialogue options is she gonna say this time? She did!
Private matter. I say this till the cows come home, but I'm ready to bury the hatchet. And I hope we can do that.
Crazy.
But how do we move on and how do we bury the hatchet?
I've said already.
No, you haven't.
I have.
No, you
repeated the same
haven't!
4 lines over and over and over. Those are thought-terminating cliches. We don't resolve things by just spouting helpful phrases at people. We
I've
actually
already
have to have
said.
communication.
I'm not saying
I know what
things.
you've said.
Yeah.
I know what you've said.
Mhm.
I'll link you up to my soundboard so I can press the button, and that might help save your voice if you'd like. But there needs to be a discussion, an actual dialogue between the two of you, because Radia is very upset. Radia's been hurt to an extreme degree.
We have both been hurt.
And I don't see how you've been hurt. Because Radia's been hurt financially. Her relationship's been hurt. Her relationships with her friends have been hurt. Socially, she has been hurt. Her career's been hurt. And she's been physically hurt. You seem fine. And I'm trying to understand how you have been hurt.
LP.
Not even to the same degree, just
too!
in any way, shape, or form.
You know what? Even after reading the entire 45-page document, I'm also trying to understand how she's been hurt.
Kind of worried this is not going to be a very productive conversation going on, so I'm just going to say it again. I know you said it's a broken record, but I'm happy to bury the hatchet. Brady has nothing to worry about.
Stop!
I'm saying that genuinely from the bottom of my heart.
What's the counter? What is the counter at this point? How many shots?
And that's all.
I'm at my limit, chat!
I'm just happy to move on. We don't have to be friends. That's fine. We can just move on, though. Oh.
Is that the only thing you're going to say?
Is there anything else?
Well, you know what? After this, I'm also going to threaten legal action to Adora. I am suing for mental damage. I can't.
Is that
No, I don't really have anything else to address.
Okay.
Because this is an effort in futility. I very much see that.
Take care of yourself, Ray. Okay? Thank you.
It is oxymoronic to the highest degree, but I will take it.
Take care, okay?
The way she says anything else, as if like I'm ordering at McDonald's. I'm like, I'll take a Big Mac trio, and the lady's like, anything else? I'm like, I'll take a Diet Coke too. Anything else? No, that's fine.
People care about you. You have your support network. Okay. I'm happy to go our separate ways. All right. Thank you all.
All right. Well, I thought going into this document, I thought it would be more like two-sided, but I feel like Radia's document is way stronger. not an again and these calls really are probably the most damning part of the document, unironically. Really, the calls is what convinced me the most, and not even the 47 pages. The fact that she thought these calls would help her case is baffling and shows that she doesn't have a good understanding of the situation or a good bird's eye view of the situation. I never want to hear the word hatchet again, and coexisting either. And I'm also finding trouble figuring out what Radia did to her, kind of like what Laser Pig was asking her in the call. I feel like we haven't got a clear answer, even throughout these 47 pages. The only thing really that she has is that Radia may have lied to her about her health issues. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next video.